like a second floor.
No, it's still. Why is it still doing versus?
Could do a second floor and then a basement.
How's it going?
That.
Okay, there we go. Now it's should be us. Okay, there we go. Now it's should be us. So I guess just do your intro, Scrappy, and yeah.
Hello and greeting. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to this self-aggrandizing anniversary episode of Storytime with Scrappy and Friends.
Bum, bum, ba-da, bum,
Dun,
bum,
dun,
ba-da.
dun.
I thought you were doing the Price is
was.
Right horn losing thing.
Or was it? I was doing. Is it Price is Right or Family Feud? I don't
I have
remember
no
right
idea.
now.
Price is right. Price is right.
Okay.
Yeah, so... Yeah, guys, we made it.
Somehow.
Yes, 1 year and we're still kicking each other.
And Nova has been working on his calves because he clearly kicks the hardest in every fucking episode.
Don't you forget it.
Love you too.
Oh, Lord.
Now, as much as I'd like to go into self-serving detail about the origins of this long-form train wreck, I think it's time to introduce ourselves.
Oh,
Hi, I'm Scrappy Fan 92, the...
Oh shit, am I late?
What the hell?
Yes, you are, Joey.
What the hell? Why is Joey here?
Joey. Oh wait, were you? Oh yeah, you were in Duel of the Fates.
I was in episode 1 and I was in Duel of Fates.
Fine, I guess. What the hell?
You literally interrupted the introductions. Thank you.
Yeah, boy.
Let's go.
This is gonna suck.
This
This
is
fine
going
bloke who
to
just entered
suck.
is Joey.
Hi.
This is a hot mess already.
I
Yeah,
hate
boy.
you so much, Joey.
Whatever.
I've been
Let's just
hearing that a lot recently.
let's just continue. Whatever.
Oh gosh.
Perfection, my guy.
So, the other guy who likes to self-deprecate is Tanner. Say hi to the kids.
I'm the guy who screams constantly in like every episode. That's the most I'm getting out of this retrospective. Is every character I play screams.
And yes, and let's all give a warm applause. Warm applause. Yeah, warm round of applause to our perfect attendee, Harry.
This game sucks his coffee balls. Oh no, he's gay.
What?
Harry, like, you can't introduce that with Watermelon around. Like, he has no context. He's got to think very uncouth things.
No, No, but sometimes you've opened episodes by just randomly quoting Homestar Runner.
He always does. Like,
I haven't done it the last few times.
And I don't get it.
I like just doing that. It's funny.
I'm just not going to introduce you anymore. I actually had some planning done for this, and then everything, I got thrown off by Joey's sudden arrival.
Yeah,
Joey Nation attacked.
it'd be like that.
And with us to... What'd you say, Tanner?
I have that show on the brain.
Yeah, you told us. With us today is no... I'm so off. With us today is Nova.
Hello.
Gosh, I am so thrown off right now.
Is there like a gas leak in everyone's house right now?
It might as well be.
Yeah, I wish. Dark.
Yeah, I'm gonna need everyone to not be yourselves for the duration of this episode because we do have a special guest.
Is that my cue?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, it is.
Hi, I'm Watermelon. Still can't believe that people want to discuss stuff that I wrote for fun, but here we are.
No, it's cool.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you for being with us. It's like
Wait,
this
you're
is
a
our
writer,
melon.
What?
Well, technically 5 or maybe 6. I don't know what Noah does in his spare time. Yes, we do have the Ottermelon, the writer of our favorite story, Till We Make Our Ascent.
You flatter me.
We are flattered by your presence.
Huh?
Now, before we go into the long retrospective, I guess we have to kind of provide some context for what story time is. It's a long time, a year ago, we at C's Brain decided that we wanted to have an additional stream of content, so to speak, for the channel. I don't even know. My role in C's Brain is perfunctory.
Your role is basically just to do like collab LPs with me, pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, you and Nova are just my parents.
Oh god, that makes me the weird uncle.
And you better believe it.
Which is,
God.
I feel like C's Brain is just an uncle.
So, yes, at Joey's request, I began devising some easy show I could do that could provide a consistent stream of content for the channel.
Yeah, because I think the thing as well is that we've done like barely anything for C's for ages, and then like Scrappy is saying, like we were brainstorming just something to do, and this is just the idea that ended up happening.
This was slightly before my step down from being an active member of C's.
Yeah.
I bumped my desk. I hope you did not hear the.
I didn't hear
the
anything.
Tremors.
I didn't. So
Did you apologize to the desk?
That poor desk.
what was I gonna say? So I decided that we would read fan fiction for a show, but now stop me if you heard this one before. What if we read good fan fiction?
Yeah.
Isn't that what we say at the beginning of every episode?
What if we read oxymorons?
Genius. The kids will definitely eat that up.
Genius. But yeah, it's like
My exact words.
I wanted to be a part of this show because, well, one, Scrappy, as far as I know, doesn't really have a way to record this, so I'm basically just here by default just to be able to record this, and also I wanted to be a part of a storytime show in general where we actually focus on decent fanfics, because like most shows like this on the internet are just focused on really funny bad fanfics, and while we do some of that still here too, like Dark and Night, I didn't really want that to be the norm and like actually, you know, promote good writing. So yeah, that's why I wanted to be a part of this.
And if I may add to that, initially when I got brought on to do a fanfic show, because I'm really into voice acting and also write fanfic myself, I thought it, and you can definitely see this, you can see me becoming more earnest as episodes progress. I initially thought this was gonna be like another one of those shows that Harry talked about. It was going to be something that was just this like, let's riff on something, let's mystery science theater this, and I'm sort of treating it that way for a while, or like doing this bit of like, oh god, I don't want to be here. But after a while, I realized I don't need to do that. First of all, it makes no sense because I also write fan fiction.
Yeah, I mean, I think the interesting thing for me is that I went through a few phases where, like, I, I've vaguely mentioned this off camera like 5 minutes ago, but I went through like a phase where I went, what is it? I read a bunch of fanfics, but I had the mindset that fanfics were bad, like probably a lot of people do, until I like actually gave them a fair chance. And I guess starting from a few years ago, where I actually started reading things, and like trying to go through good stories and stuff. Because there's a lot of good stuff out there that you can find if you're willing to dig through things. And yeah, I don't know.
It is weird that you mentioned that. That's basically what I use. Like, that's the only reason I use anything on TV tropes is for the fanfic rec section, because nowadays it's weird because when I was younger, it was like TV tropes is decent training wheels for media analysis, and then you're like, okay, if all those training wheels were triangles.
Yeah, pretty much. It's also interesting seeing like people's different interpretations of characters and whatnot. Because no one's writing style is really the same.
I mean, yeah, and that is something that you can leave a thumbprint that is unique in its own right.
Yeah,
that
like
still feel as though, I guess the thing is not necessarily adherence to the source material, but there is like reverence that I feel is important.
Yeah, respecting the source material, but not, like, I don't know.
Being a slave to it.
Yeah, not being a slave to it, like putting your own spin on things, I guess. Because it is a good idea to like see people's interpretations and kind of meld your own style from that, I guess.
It was weird with Deadpool, which is one of the fics on here we'll talk about.
Yeah.
By the way, how did you format this? Did you want to go episode by episode and say, hey, this was cool, this was memorable, this was a funny joke, this was a funny bit, or did you just... I should not be that far away from the mic, but did you want to do that, or did you just want this to be a free-for-all?
I'm just gonna let Scrappy talk about this, because I have no idea how this is gonna work.
Oh gosh darn it.
Not responsibility.
I was thinking we just go like story by story because we did kind of read some stories out of order.
Okay.
And yeah, at Ottermelon's prodding, we will start with the actual first story we read, even if it's like uber self-aggrandizing, even by my standards.
Point of this episode, as you said yourself, so I don't see the problem.
You will.
All I remember from this... actually, no, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Alright. As you all know, we started this series about good fanfiction with one of my own because I have self-worth.
Though, that's good though. Rate yourself.
So yes, we read a little story called... Pardon me. We read a story called The Super Mario Show, written by some very lovely guy named Scrappy Fan 92 back in 2009.
Yeah, I think I've heard of him before.
Yeah, he's currently, how hot did you say it was out?
I have no idea what the temperature is, but it's warm and musty.
So, I already made this joke, never mind.
Hey man, if you
I heard he was actually working on a book series with someone.
Yeah.
I'll say this though, you wrote that in like 2009. the stories I wrote were like 2011 and 12, and they're like way worse than that. So just take that for what you will.
I like how you're saying it's not good. You have to just say someone else's was worse.
I mean, you did get better.
Yes. I don't even need to pretend to be professional this time. This is a casual look back.
Yeah,
Like
this
has ever stopped me before.
yeah.
When have any of us ever been professional?
Nova.
Yeah, no, fair enough. He has the worst mic, yet the most class.
Well, if I'm not gonna be able to have expensive mics like all of you, then I might as well at least let my personality make up for it.
I don't have a good mic though.
You at the very
It's fine. If I ever win the lottery, I'll send you a microphone, and then you can delve into degeneration with the rest of us.
I like that we all exist as an amplifier to your social skills, because place next to you, we all look significantly more autistic, and I'm not saying
Oh my
that as
god.
should I apologize for that, because that was only half a joke, because I actually am
I
on the
don't
spectrum.
I'm not sure you
As
should
someone
really.
on the spectrum, I'm perfectly okay with this, but for the sake of people watching this, refrain in the future.
Yeah, I feel like you shouldn't really say stuff like that.
Well,
Yeah, that's
no,
why I kind of get on your case for the "oh no, he's jokes" at the start. Like no one knows the context for that, Harry.
Oh, I think I know that.
Well, the audience might not, and I don't think Ottermelon does, but
No,
that's
I think I know now, but I do appreciate the sentiment.
yeah.
so. Where were we? Oh yeah, Tanner says Nova looks better because he's already good, and he looks even better next to us.
What the hell?
So, yeah, the Super Mario Show was a story I wrote in 2009, and I just gave up. Came back in 2012. I can hear my own audio on someone else's mic. It's freaking me out.
If it's me, I've just turned down my sound.
It's me.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, it was just throwing me off for a moment.
For the record, the intro I did was funnier in my head.
That's
still
okay.
don't
All
know.
my
It wasn't meant. It wasn't meant to be offensive.
I'm not sure.
What'd you say, Tanner?
I'm not sure what I understand. I'm not sure I understand what it was meant to be.
It's a YouTube poop based off of an angry video game nerd
Yes.
video,
Oh,
but
Well,
like
thank
that's
you for providing
like-
that reference that everyone
that's
here will get.
yeah, that's a niche of a niche, unfortunately. I mean,
Yeah, I
says
thought
the
it-
fan fiction writer, but
Oh yeah.
I thought it was harmless. Whatever.
where were we? This is why I didn't want to talk. Like, how do I talk about my story if I'm just saying things happened? I like my writing.
Luigi broke bones or something.
It did. That's it. I guess we can reflect on that bit.
Okay.
It's a bit that's weirdly enough. I'm talking about this like we have legions of fans that are retweeting that are like quoting things we've done on subreddits, but
Huh.
at least for us, it feels like that bit kind of became the staple of the show. In ways that I was not prepared for, and I know how it started. It was because I misinterpreted that as him just breaking people's bones like he had a fucking stand. And it kind of just devolved into it kind of morphed into its own characterization for Luigi, just being this unrepentant chaos demon.
Yeah. That's one way to put
Yeah,
it.
for Pete's sake. Yeah, I wrote a Mario story, and it's kind of supposed to be like the games, but
It,
I was a 12-year-old writing, so you do the math.
I
oh,
do.
no. I've written things. I wrote a Batman story where I thought my understanding of Batman was he's a guy who is sad. So I said, what if I just made an entire thing where this was the premise of the story. Batman cuts himself next to a fireplace and then fights the Riddler, and that's about it.
What?
Yeah, that's fan fiction.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll go with
Also,
that.
Yep.
villains, I used the Riddler for some reason.
That's pretty random.
I mean, he was in the
Tanner.
first episode of the Batman TV show.
Cool.
Hmm.
And I did not know that, so that's cool. Yeah, Tanner brought it up earlier, but so yeah, my Super Mario show was it's kind of it's obviously not the best thing we ever read here, but I think it was maybe the most appropriate thing to read first. It set the tone for kind of some of the general shtick we would have in subsequent episodes, like me trying and failing to keep it together, Nova carrying every female character on his back, and Tanner being cast as every rage demon we could find.
It was weird. It is weird that I do feel like that was the point of me trying to be like tongue-in-cheek and ironic. Like doing the whole like this dumb like 4chan adjacent humor where it's just like, which I mean honestly, and it's not even like the good 4chan threads where it's like edgy but there is a joke. It was just me. There are bits there where I'm just saying edgy things.
Sorry.
And it is something that I feel like I've moved past.
We've all grown in our own ways over the course of this year. Like, it has been a year. I can't believe that.
Yeah.
Yep. We started story time before the world ended.
No, we started it after lockdown already happened in my country.
I mean, this really was just a year that was a breeding gown. A gown.
Yeah,
that
breeding
you
ground.
Yeah. Thank you, Scrappy. If you really want proof that I am on the spectrum, just listen to how I speak.
Oh. You're fine.
Oh, okay. But it was sort of, I imagine that entire year was just a breeding ground for podcasts.
Yep.
Yeah. I'd definitely see that.
Speaking of which, isn't Seaspring supposed to have a podcast?
No.
That was that's been dead for a while.
Can I please be the e-girl to your podcaster BFs?
Oh my god.
Oh gosh.
What?
Anyway. The extenuating circumstances of the past year kind of left us in a very particular position where we could kind of gather online on a mostly weekly basis to do very silly things. And
yeah. And I will say with complete sincerity that it has been really fun. It has been really fun. I've really warmed up to what this show is.
That's good.
And I'm happy for that. I enjoy coming here every week or so and just shooting the breeze and trying to enlighten the internet world to good works of fiction.
Yeah. And you've gotten at least God, I feel like we're still working in I can't even say you've gotten like 0.1% of the internet to do so.
I mean, that's better than 0.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice. One of my favorite things to do lately is just to be like around for story time and like suggest specific fics and whatnot.
Thank you. My food is here. I'll be right back. So you
Oh,
all
okay.
can, like, since I hate talking about my own stuff, apparently, you all can talk about what you took away from the Super Mario Show by Scrappy Fan 92 while I'm gone.
I mean, I don't really remember a lot of specifics. I just remember like some characters like being jerks. Apparently Scrappy got abducted by aliens at one point. Like,
I know that he said it was supposed to be reminiscent of Calvin and Hobbes, the series fic,
mm,
and it definitely shows that in the meta humor and that sort of tongue-in-cheek irreverence.
yeah,
The problem is with the very early fics is that it feels like it goes way too far into that territory. There is nothing that and it shows, like, with the characters being jerks, as you said.
yeah.
There's nothing that tethers any of these characters to anything, and I'm not asking for a commentary on the duality of man out of a fucking Mario fic, but it doesn't feel like any of the characters starting out
Yeah,
have anything that tethers them to Earth.
yeah, I can see that.
Everything is just zany.
Mm.
And at an eventual point, it is the biggest flaw with that fic is that I can't care about any of these characters because they just were so exaggerated. And I'm not saying that they have evolved into these, multifaceted. I'm not asking to read the Odyssey out of
You can play Mario Odyssey, huh?
I probably should.
It is a great game, though, but definitely is indicative. It's also just indicative of what internet humor was like at the time.
Right.
And I'm gonna stop. I'm clearly rambling.
No, I see what you're saying. I do think I do think Scrappy did get a lot better in the later fix when like he picked it up again, like years later.
Well, that's because he's an adult writing Mario fanfiction now.
Yeah, I feel like most like kids writing stuff, I guess unless you're like a prodigy or something, you're probably not gonna come out with anything too great.
At most, I spoke with a heightened vocabulary, but I was still at that age where I thought that the paragon, the martyr for media analysis, was Doug fucking Walker.
Yeah.
Why does this episode look like Vegas?
Yeah, I really don't have much to say about the Super Mario show specifically. I mean, I had fun being there for it, but you could definitely tell it was like a young Scrappy writing that.
Joey, are you asleep?
No, my breathing is loud for some reason. My microphone likes to pick up everything except my voice.
Could you mute?
I've moved the microphone.
Okay.
Nova, do you have anything you want to say about the Mario show?
Waiting. I'm just waiting for Scrappy to continue it.
Fair.
Ottermelon, as someone who is new to the show, and you mentioned rewatching some of these episodes, do you have anything to say?
Well, I thought the part where Daisy bashed Toad's head in was pretty funny.
Was that the part where I said "Get wrecked, son"?
Something like that.
It really is funny.
What? Oh, yeah.
They just are. It's so weird because, like, Scrappy talks about Toad being the jerk character when Daisy is just this unhinged lunatic who runs around bashing people's heads in.
Yeah,
Honestly-
it's amazing. Like, I guess spoilers for a random Mario fanfic,
Yeah.
but one plot point that Scrappy made in like recent episodes is to have this weird MacGuffin be the cause of the characters being douchebags.
I'm going to go get food.
Okay.
Well, I mean, if you have X amount of years to try and put together, you know, something resembling a plot, there are worse ways to go about it.
Yeah.
But you mentioned that like he wrote that when he was like like a lot younger.
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
early episodes were like 2009, and he picked it up like last year just to continue it.
That's something else.
Yeah.
I wish I had that kind of dedication, maybe.
Yeah.
But I mean, is anyone proud of the stuff that they wrote, like when they were like, 13 or whatever?
No.
Looking back on it, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like I said it.
Actually, yes, because I
Oh.
wrote one thing and I still have it up on my wall, but it's like super dark.
Yeah.
Well, that's something.
Yeah, it's like I've wrote fanfics when I was like 12 or something, and they're god awful.
Yeah, I used to write stuff. I started back in like 2011, and I was writing under a different name, but I don't know. I feel like sometimes like, wow, why did I write that? But also maybe my writing hasn't changed that much from when I was like 15 or whatever.
Yeah, that's my kind of a fear of mine as well. Like, with like starting a new story, it's like one fear is just, is it just gonna be back like when I was 12 writing garbage?
Yeah, but it's that I think is like the eternal dilemma.
Yeah.
Fanfic, like who you're primarily going to be writing for a younger audience, and at this point, it's like, well, I don't think I've aged. I don't think like any of us have aged out of it. I don't think you're really ever too old for it. But at the same time, like, okay, you gotta take a step back and think like. But about like the Mario fic. I definitely was. I've only seen the first 3 episodes, the
Okay.
first 3 parts when like the early stuff basically. But I was definitely engaged. You could say that much. I usually don't read crack fics for it, but that was funny.
Yeah, I don't usually
So-
read that kind of stuff nowadays either. Like, a lot of the stuff I tend to read now are like long form stuff, because I like getting engrossed into the characters and whatnot.
Yeah. Same here.
I've always been more into long form content.
I do enjoy like one shots every now and then, but like, yeah.
Like things like 2-hour YouTube videos, 3-hour movies, freaking books with so many goddamn chapters.
Yeah.
You know, the main reason you won't listen or watch Fallout or read Fallout Equestria.
I mean, there's a lot
Because
of...
it's in his defense, it's really fucking long.
Well, I mean, the thing
But
with...
it's worth it. Like I got through. I don't even remember. I read it so long ago, but I got through like probably the first 20 or 30 chapters. I want to say, and then I was just like, well, yeah, at some point it's just like I could just be reading something else right now or doing something else.
Yeah, that's the
Am I
thing for
really
me,
still
like,
invested in this?
that's the thing for me, it's like, I wanna feel like I want to read something, because for starters, I've never played a Fallout game, and I don't really care about ponies anymore.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's one of those things for fanfics for me, where, I tend to want, like, search for, like, stories for things where I want more material. So, like, I finish an anime that I really like, for example, and then I just go online to see what people have made and just go from there.
Yeah.
It's just stuff like that. Like, I want to...
If this
Yeah.
If this was like 2011 or something, maybe this would be a different conversation.
Yeah, I
If
mean,
it's
I
playing
might.
at 11, then I don't know what this conversation would be.
I mean, I might
As
give
far
it
as-
like
as
at
far as-
least. I might give it a chance eventually, just to say I did, but I yeah, I don't know.
As far as Fallout Equestria goes, like that was definitely when I was reading that, or 2012. I don't know, it's so long ago.
Hmm.
I think I listened to it in 2014.
Hmm.
I tend to listen to content more than actually reading it. It's just easier for me to consume content that way.
That's fair. I mean, I probably would. I probably would just listen to it if I ever did do that. So I mean, recently I've just been reading a lot of Madoka fanfics, to be honest.
So there is some quality content out there.
Yeah.
Just be grateful that you're not trying to read or listen through Project Horizon. Now that's long.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And then around chapter 20, 30-ish, it just hits a freaking massive dark patch and it just keeps getting darker.
Mm.
I still think it's great though.
I mean, it's fair.
And then the very end, it just kind of loses its plot because techno magic or some shit. I don't know.
Nice. So I guess we just chill her until Scrappy comes back. So I don't think there's anything I can really say about the Mario show at this point.
Yeah, and
I wasn't gone that long, Harry. God dang.
Oh, hi. I don't know when you were gonna come back.
I
mean,
mean, I
he
was
is
back
back.
for like a minute and a half. I was
Oh,
just
okay.
muted because I'm eating.
Oh, that's fine. Do you wanna... Is
You
there anything
saying
else you want to
don't
say
want
about...
to put the crunch into the chat?
Is there anything else you want to say about your own story, or do you want us to move on?
Well, I thought you guys would be able to carry it a bit longer, but apparently not.
I...
Well, did you hear about how I really liked the part when Daisy smashed Toad's head in with a hammer?
No, I was gone, so thank you.
Peak comedy right there.
I mean, if you like slapstick like that, you're probably gonna enjoy the book that we're writing when it comes out.
Oh, hi, Sylph. You you joined us for this.
Oh yeah, Sylph is still alive.
I mean, he's been alive for a while.
I was asking about him just today as well, so thank you for showing up.
Yeah, Scrappy. Sylph doesn't usually show up for these episodes, so this is different.
Just gonna shill my live stream to Sylph. Nah, I'm kidding.
So I didn't know Pac-Man
Okay,
99
I
was a
guess.
thing, so that's news to me.
Alright, I guess I'll go into this. Alright, I will go into my thought process. Is that what we're calling it now?
Yeah, sure.
What did I want to do when making the Super Mario show? I just wanted to make I don't know, I guess make a series that I would have watched if it was on TV.
Yeah, I mean, if it's any consolation or whatever, it did seem like the kind of show you'd see, like something like the Super Show or whatever.
Yeah, I actually had like a DVD box set of half of that show from 2007, so that may have been an influence.
Hmm.
It was like I started devising the story back in 2008 when I was probably at my peak Mario fandom, and I really liked Bowser Jr., which led me to violate canon in the best possible way. Oh dear, I wish Tanner was here because I feel like he's a character who Junior is a character who kind of evolved with Tanner.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Junior is probably one of the few Mario characters that actually has some depth. Just take that for what you
I
will.
don't even. he's like, I don't know, he just works in my story. I don't know why. He's just really malleable.
I feel like there's just a lot you can get out of Junior specifically.
I just seems to like writing assholes. Like Joey can attest to this.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's pretty good. Oh yeah, yeah. Actually, no. I don't know if you guys want to talk about that on the show.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine talking about it, but it's like keeping plot details on the down low.
Yeah, I mean, it's you guys' thing, so you can talk to it at your leisure.
Much as I'd like to go into detail, I think it's a bit odd for a fanfiction anniversary special. So.
Fair.
That's
But,
right.
yeah,
If you wrote fan fiction when you were 13, you too can start writing a book.
Like the Mario cast is just fun to mess around with. Like
Yeah, I can see that.
Pete, like messing with Peach can be funny. Like it's like plucking the petals off of a flower.
Pretty much. The best example of this is that actually the most recent story we've been reading is the Elders stands for loser or whatever. Like that's a good example of just having a lot of fun with the Mario cast.
Yeah. And I wish Tanner was here because he could go into details from all of this. I don't know, like my primary inspirations aside from the Mario franchise itself was probably Calvin and Hobbes' series by Swing 123 and Garfield Odie. That was a long-running series of fics on fanfiction.net in the 2000s, and it just kind of served as a template for how the characters tended to interact with each other in my show. Like Junior is just Calvin.
Yeah.
Just an angry little rage demon with some good tendencies.
Oh god.
And it's been I appreciate coming back to my story and trying to just continue it and kind of what's the word, reconcile my old characterization with whatever I'm doing now. Like actually, yeah, my story has the dubious honor of having the longest lifespan of any story we've read on this show so far.
Oh, what the heck? Do you...
And Tanner went into detail. I promise I will not dwell on this too much longer. Tanner went into detail about just how Luigi kind of devolved into some eldritch abomination.
Did someone host a stream or something?
Perhaps.
Okay, yeah, because I heard the noise, but I didn't see the pop-up.
Yeah, I think we said there was something wrong with your pop-ups, what, a couple months ago?
It should, I mean, it should be working now.
What was I saying?
I mean, I'm not going to unhost you to rehost
No,
you.
yeah, it's fine.
Like I can't unhear Tanner's Danny Wells impression for Luigi anymore. It's just
that's
just the voice I hear in my head when I think of ideas for my story, and he's gradually overtaking Charles Martinet as the canon Luigi voice.
Yeah, they say that's just that voice is just amazing.
Like the characters in Mario are already fun to write for, and they have such distinct voices already that you can already hear them in your head clearly. But my
So
cast.
Mario Boom when?
What? Where?
Wait, so Mario Boom when?
Oh god.
I wish. Well, they've already got they've got clear voices already, but now my co-stars' interpretations of them are just extremely pleasing to hear when I'm writing stories for them.
Mario and Luigi: Rise of Lyric.
Oh dear.
Can that not happen? I was talking about the show, not the games.
I mean, if you're talking about the show itself, then yeah. Although I wonder how would they even work with Mario? That sounds really weird.
I mean, they've already got the Mushroom Kingdom. Just have Bowser show up and then do random stuff, and then just throw in some plot points to make Mario Party make sense.
That's kind of just my story. Pardon me.
I mean, I feel like
Oh, good. So we've already got the lead writer.
I feel that the style of humor works better for Sonic than it does Mario, though.
I mean, people didn't even think that style of humor fit Sonic to begin with, so I guess the joke's on us.
I could go on a whole tirade about this, but I'll say this much. I think it works better for the Boom universe, specifically, because it is a different dimension. But I'll leave it.
I'm not sure.
I don't want to talk about this right now. I could go on about this for ages.
Yeah, aren't we supposed to be talking about fanfiction? And not writing one?
Yeah.
I wasn't here. I'm not sure if I ever went into detail on this, but Nova, what did you take away from my story?
Mario should really get an animated series. There's a lot you can do with the characters.
Yeah, they're fun to write for.
Like better than the Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah, but is it as good as the He-Man movie?
Nothing is as good as the He-Man movie.
What is it? I'm trying to. I think what is it? I did like a versus series for, I think it was like Rayman Raving Rabbids or something with Jason, and the losing requirement was you have to watch the Mario movie, and God, that movie's so boring. Like, I'm sorry, but like I got so bored.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to offend anyone by saying the Mario movie is bad.
There's one apologist in this chat right now.
I can see why people would enjoy it on, like, in the sense that, like, it's so out there, but I just couldn't get into it. It's just, yeah.
It's the kind of film you watch with a bunch of guys to just riff on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we did, and I was actually trying to watch it legitimately.
I mean, that's fine. The thing is, like, I appreciate them for, like, being unique about it. I just didn't think it was very fun. Like, I just didn't care.
They made Mario edgy. They
Okay,
should have just given. If they wanted to do that, they could have done it way easier. Given him a pump-action shotgun and some black sunglasses, and been like Mario's taking back the Mushroom Kingdom.
No, you know, the only thing I remember from the watch session was like when they had Bowser like melt into goo or whatever, and everyone started cheering. I just yelled, "Yeah, we killed a man!"
But if I can be that guy, I really like that movie.
I mean, that's fine.
I like that movie a lot.
Yeah, it's fair.
Welcome back, Tanner. Yeah, I'm about to resume my food as well. Were you talked about my story, right?
I'm getting hooray death.
Okay, then we can move on to the second thing we read, which yeah, we did read a second story. It was really short. It was.
Oh, okay.
I almost hesitate to bring it up because Tanner might start foaming at the mouth.
Okay, I think for reference,
I hated. Looking back, I hate that bit I was doing. It's adjacent to like nostalgia critic, like whoa, this thing I'm watching or whatever is so bad. I'm gonna have a big epic reaction to. I really hate that was my go-to thing. I guess it was. It did confuse me.
That's fair. Yeah, I tend to enjoy comedy that's more natural. Like, I don't really enjoy stuff that's just forced for the sake of it.
Oh, no. And a lot of, I mean, some of my bits right now, I don't know how funny I am. I don't think I'm that funny.
I mean, I think you're entertaining to be around, if that says anything.
All right, I'll take that.
Yeah, some backstory, because I know specifically what this fic is. So, like, I think at one point when we were reading the Mario show, some...
Love of Jesus.
yeah, so someone, I think someone in the Twitch chat was just like, yo, read the story I made. It's like, okay, sure. And then I just looked at it, and it was just, it's like some CinemaSins parody. It's like, okay. What?
Open the floodgates for me.
Yeah.
Because at this point, making fun of CinemaSins is as cliche as the CinemaSins gimmick in and of itself.
Kinda, yeah.
I never enjoyed his content.
Well, no, because it's the easiest form of comedy to write. It is the easiest thing to write, where it's just watching something else. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's... Yeah, and a lot of people piggybacked off of that and, like, did their own takes on it, and, I mean, it was entertaining for a time, but it's...
It is something that is very... It is easy. It is easy to just kind of look at a movie and be really snide and just be like, well, you know, how could Batman have been bored if both of his parents were killed?
What the hell? What?
Actually, what?
That makes no sense.
All right, I would advise us to, you know, critique the fan fiction, not the thing it's parodying. Okay,
I mean, I
I
don't
agree we can do that, but
I mean, I don't even
focus on
remember.
the story, please.
I don't even remember anything about it other than it was a CinemaSins parody about Phineas and Ferb or something.
It was about the episode Night of the Living Pharmacist, and rewatching that, just rewatching things I'm nostalgic for. I honestly, that's a really good episode of Phineas and Ferb. Like, that's a really solid episode.
I've seen a handful of episodes of the show, but I don't remember a lot of specifics.
It's one of the few ones that stands out as something that isn't just the structure of every episode.
Yeah, that's my problem with that show. Like, if I feel like it gets too samey.
It was definitely funny, and eventually the fact that it was the same thing over and over sort of became the joke.
Yeah.
But it's definitely, I'm glad that it ended when it did.
How many?
I can see that.
How many?
I didn't
seasons...
see a lot
I
of
like how we're talking about everything aside from the actual story.
Yeah, I don't even know what the title is.
Nothing there.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about this, to be honest.
It is a CinemaSins take. What can I say? I disagreed with your CinemaSins parody? What am I supposed to say?
I'm trying to find the link just so I can properly credit the author, but it was accurate for what it was trying to be, and
It does. I hope I wasn't like overly mean-spirited in that episode.
you mostly just sounded dumbfounded.
Yeah, because I'm not, and it's happening again. It is time is a flat circle, because right now this is happening again because I have no idea what I am supposed to say about it.
I mean, does anyone else have things to say?
The things we regret saying. Let's just move on to the next story.
No, I was gonna ask if anyone else had anything to actually say about it, but we want to move on.
I mean, I have one comment to say.
Yeah.
From what you guys have been saying about it, it sounds like the entire joke of the story is just, haha, I wouldn't have done that because I have hindsight.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was just a CinemaSins parody of an episode. That's
yeah.
whether that's good or bad is up to you to decide, but you'd have to read it.
You know what the other problem is? Is that Phineas and Ferb was already a very tongue-in-cheek show.
Yeah.
So trying to approach it with this like ironic detachment and like snark, it feels redundant.
I can see that.
Snark is fine, but if you look at it on a dish, if it was food, it's like
it's-
you wouldn't want it to be like the main bit.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like the
like-
small bit of salad on the side, or like the drizzle.
You become Joss Whedon or you become Kevin Smith, who is just Seth Rogen for Funko Pop collectors.
Jesus Christ.
Moving on.
Yeah, before I start giving opinions on Seth Rogen.
Our third story that we read was the first one that involved Xavier, who is unfortunately not here today. He's doing Minecraft, I think.
A better use of his time.
Clearly.
Excuse me. The story was entitled Lost in This Dance. It was based off of Super Smash Brothers. No, I'm not explaining what that is.
Oh,
Like,
okay,
watch the-
okay, I know what this is now. Yeah.
That was our first dramatic story, and I really did appreciate it. It was fun to read.
I feel like is it called Lost in the Stance?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like that's the first and no offense to you, Scrappy, or the girl that wrote the Cinema Sins parody, but I feel like this is the first story we've read that was actually pretty good. I really enjoyed it because it's like it's a what's the term, like
Joey, can you please stop doing ASMR?
I'm. What? Bruh! The microphone is over my head. It cannot. Like,
You're doing ASMR, but you've also chosen to stuff the microphone under a Vader helmet.
Nice.
it's honestly.
And also, every time you move it, I really like your choice that you placed a bunch of firecrackers under your desk.
I'm
Jesus.
sorry. I'm not rich. I need to get a better microphone.
Oh god. Anyways, yeah, I really like this story because it had like a really unlikely pairing with Lana and Pitt, and actually made it work, and it was really cute. And yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun.
It was very, yeah, no. It was very good. I don't remember much from it because I many lines in that one.
Yeah, yeah, I'm similar as well. Like, I haven't gone back to rewatch a lot of our episodes, so I'm kind of just remembering stuff from ages ago, like just kind of vaguely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a lot of fun with that story.
No, it wasn't poorly written. It's just I can't remember much from it because I was barely, I was barely involved.
That's fair.
Pardon me. We had like one walk online for Bowser Jr. and it was funny.
It was. I did.
Oh my god, I hate
What
this.
What did I say again?
I cannot remember.
If we are talking, if we do have time to go over, if we make a part 2 or have time to go over favorite characters, I know Junior is on that list.
Oh, he's on. I think he's on all of our lists, Tanner.
Yeah. Thank you.
You also voice Wario for like one line. So
That's on brand. We're never getting another Wario hand game.
And we're never
we were also
recording...
thinking about good times, not muse on what won't be.
And apparently we're never recording Shake It.
Oh, I see what you did there. Were you trying to segue?
Was he?
Because he said muse on what won't be.
No. God darn it, no.
I didn't think we were done with the this story yet, because I don't think Scrappy said anything yet.
Well, I mean, you said most of what I would say.
Oh, okay, fair.
I enjoyed trying to voice both pits to the best of my ability.
Hmm.
And yeah, I'd say this was maybe the first chapter where Nova really got to kind of flex. That was
Yeah.
nice.
He was really
Yeah.
good. What? There are some sucks to be Ouija chapters that I really enjoy playing off of Nova
Oh.
in.
Actually, no, it's fine. It's fine.
Just for the fact that he gets to be the Chad to my Virgin, that's really fun.
Enemy shadow walking. What the hell?
I talk too much. I'm sorry.
Fine. Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate the story for being basically a crack fic that I got behind. It was not crack fic, a crack pairing that I got behind.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you want a crack fic, we have one of those down the line.
Oh yeah.
Like, I only found the story because I was looking for art of the two characters.
Oh my god.
I apparently
Yes.
shipped them already. And that's
Mm-hmm.
like, you learn all sorts of things about yourself through fan fiction.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a fun story to read, and the author apparently has some follow-ups, so maybe we'll get to them down the line.
Mm-hmm.
Just to make a comment on this, I know what you're trying to say, Sylph, but I do actually like Sonic R, so take that for what you will.
Like, this is the problem with trying to being a smartass online. There's always that one guy.
Sure.
No, yeah.
And I'm usually that one guy, but today Harry
was gonna
holds that
say,
L or R.
I was just gonna say, isn't literally this entire group just a collective of those one guys?
Kinda.
Scrappy watches Impractical Jokers and just screams whenever they're doing a bit, hoping that someone catches on.
Yeah.
I've actually never seen Impractical Jokers. Why am I laughing?
Anyways, this is so disorganized. What were you talking about?
No, yeah. And
Fanfiction, I think.
Crack pairings.
Oh no,
Uh-huh.
yeah, crack codes. I was gonna say this as well. So one thing you should know about me is that like I'm a massive like hopeless romantic, and I like shipping characters a lot. So yeah,
that
You don't
explains why
say.
you're hosting a fanfic show.
yeah. So that's yeah.
That was such low-hanging fruit, but I just saw it. I'm sorry if like me doing a bit all the time gets annoying.
No, that's fine.
You just become the bit.
I don't want that. I really don't want that.
He's gone into detail about this. Like, he's had his, like, we're gonna get to that, Tanner. You have grown while reading these stories for people. What am I trying to say? You've grown while reading fan fiction. Like, that is an inarguable fact.
This is my one-armed man.
I guess so. And so yeah, I do not mean to downplay the quality of the story or the author's talents, but I guess I can only say so much. Like, I enjoyed this a lot. It was fun to read when I wasn't tripping over my lines, and Nova was absolutely a joy to play off of.
Mm-hmm.
No, he really is for all of us, especially like in stories that there's a lot of sucks to be Ouija chapters where we get to bounce off of each other, and those are really fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say that, I mean, part of it is that it is really hard to critique something that just generally did a good job. It's
Yeah.
easy to critique something bad. It is hard to critique something great, but it is impossible to critique something that is just good.
Yeah. No, I can definitely see where you're coming from with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just a really well written story for two characters who normally would not even breathe the same air. So
Yeah, I was gonna say like
that is a talent.
for characters that would not even interact, let alone be shipped, like it was really well done. So
Oh dear. And yeah, it was just I wouldn't have said it like Harry said it, but it was nice to read something a little more sincere and earnest after
yeah,
the first two stories.
yeah,
Yeah, no.
yeah.
It was very. Oh yeah, no, definitely.
So,
And oh yeah, I forgot the author did not when they initially drafted the story. They had not played Kid Icarus Uprising, so they were basically doing Pit and Dark Pit's characterization from scratch, I guess, and it worked.
yeah, it worked fairly
Felt
well.
like canon selves.
Yeah, I thought it worked. Like, didn't seem too out of character at all.
I would say that they are a bit. Both of them are a bit less goofy, but that's
yeah.
mostly due to the tone of the fic rather than anything that is misinterpreting their characterization.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that story. Does anyone else? I don't think Nova said anything yet.
Which one? Which fanfic?
Lost in This Dance with Pit and Lana.
Oh, right. Yeah, admittedly, that was one of the one of the better fics that we've read so far. Granted, I'm not really a shipper, so I don't really, I don't have as much enthusiasm as someone like Harry would have, but
Fair enough.
it was legitimately very. It was actually legitimately interesting and definitely something that piqued my interest more as we went along.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, well, the story was a nice. It helped set the stage for kind of the stuff we would read down the line, and it was good in its own right. And it helped. It was a nice snapshot of like what 2014 Nintendo kind of looks like. So that was fun. And that episode was actually a double feature because we did read Tanner's story, and that was.
Yeah. And I will say that it is always. I feel as though I feel very lashed, and I know that that's probably just gonna be mostly self-imposed, especially because the Deadpool project has changed quite a bit since I wrote it. Which I only wrote it last year, but I guess I honestly don't know if that script is still gonna be an episode, and because what I'm doing is essentially I want to do a fan animated series and get at least one episode out before Disney presses the big red button and just nukes me. I want to do at least one because it's just an idea I've had since I was young, and I mean you could get into the semantics of superhero movies becoming sort of this homogenized blob and yada yada yada. Which I mean, this was partially about that, at least with Mojo kind of being this out of touch corporate executive. And it's weird. I don't think it's bad if I can like be self-critical. There are a few jokes I don't think are that funny, and that might just be because, and again, this is me being my own worst critic. I don't know if I'm that funny. I try. Much like Deadpool, I am very self-critical and talk too much. But I do think a lot of it worked, and we haven't even gotten around to writing part 2 because we had a different idea of what the pilot is going to be. And honestly, I'm still rewriting that pilot. I think here's the worst thing about the jokes. It's sort of what I criticize Cinnabon for. what I criticize them for, and it is an easy trap to fall into with just by nature for Deadpool as a character, is it's so easy to just do that epic, like, I am commenting on the absurdities of the narrative in which I occupy.
Right.
And that's a part of his character, but there are more clever ways to do that, and there are lines and gags in this fic where I feel like I push a bit too far into, like, wacky fourth wall man. And because I do try to write him as a human being first, and it's weird because the meta humor is so ingrained into his character. And I'm probably just rambling, so I'm gonna let other people talk.
Yeah.
I'm hoping at least one joke landed, and also that you genuinely cared about Wade, because even if no jokes land, it's like, I hope you at least care about him to some extent.
Well, I'm sorry to say that you have been downplaying your own qualities as a writer for a good while. Like, jokes landed. I'm not just saying that because I edited the script. Like that's
That
like
was
full
also
disclosure, but
self-conscious. Yeah. You know who is fun to write, though? Just Spiral. Spiral, really any character who sort of... Because everyone kind of gets to play the parent to Deadpool in different ways, which is weird because Spiral is arguably a worse person than he is.
I'd argue objectively, honestly.
Objectively, yeah. Well, I mean, no. Deadpool's weird because he's self-destructive and he's an asshole. He's an asshole and he's been a piece of shit most of his life, but he's always trying to change that. He's very repentant in a lot of ways, but it is almost like it is so ingrained into who he is that it feels like history is just repeating itself, or even when he does do something good, he's either punished for it or fucks it up.
Huh.
And it's also that he's just a very lonely person. He's also cripplingly insecure to the point where I think he just kind of laces everything with this, ironic detachment towards everything. He just wants to take the piss out of everything because it's easier for him. I know this is a cliched comparison, but Doctor, he is Pagliacci.
Yeah, he is like the epitome of a sad clown in comic books. Like it's a fair observation. Yeah, what I was trying to get to is that yes, the story was good. It was an interesting look into Wade Wilson's oh so complicated psyche.
Yeah.
And it was funny.
Mojo was so fun to write. It's hard because how do you make a character like Mojo human? He's just a cartoon villain. There's really no way to make him human.
Yeah. Sometimes a cartoonishly evil villain is all you need.
I think it actually plays well against Deadpool, who is multifaceted. It's also funny to have someone who grosses him out, who is so repugnant that it makes Deadpool feel... I don't know. It makes him... It's sort of...
Oh my god.
I guess I'm trying to think of the proper word. Or the proper phrase. It's funny to see a character who is just... He's just disgusting. Mojo's just disgusting. Like, the fact that Wade, who one of his defining traits is that he's ugly, he's cripplingly insecure to the point where he wears a mask whenever he goes out in public and doesn't even have a secret identity to hide. But I think that's also the thing, is that I don't think Mojo thinks he's beautiful. Mojo really is just a king in that respect.
Yeah, I got, I definitely got a vibe of him just really loving himself and
Yeah.
everyone else just kind of hating him. So
Well, yeah,
kudos.
yeah, because he's, I don't know, he's belligerent. He's, I could go on.
Hmm.
Yeah, his banter with Spiral was funny. Like Spiral was just fun. It was just fun in general.
I was
True.
just kind of writing it as like Shigo from Kim Possible.
Nice.
And it worked.
I don't really remember like I don't really know that much about Deadpool, so I don't really remember a lot about the story, but
He's Spider-Man for band kids.
I thought the joke was nah, never mind. But yes, like I mean, even ignoring the physical similarities from their costumes, they both have a loose streak of just depressing self-loathing.
Yeah, and well, I mean the thing is, Deadpool, the universe hates him, but I feel like Deadpool brings it upon himself more than Spider-Man does.
Hmm.
Because Spider-Man is it, even though there are like, I like when Stacy died, that sort of thing. He's generally good at being a superhero. Deadpool just sucks at that. He's so bad at it, and it's really fun to write someone who desperately wants to be redeemed, who desperately, like, it's not even like he isn't trying.
Yeah.
It is, that's the other thing, is with the course of this series, when we were rewriting it, is not giving him a free pass for some of the really nasty things he's done. Because that's something that's so easy to do with redemption arcs, is just instantly... There's a lot of redemption arcs that have the redemption arc part, but they forget the arc part.
Yeah.
And I feel like it does help that Deadpool is the protagonist. So there's no way that you have to, like... There's no, like, Vegeta-ness to it. Well, no, Vegeta grows into a family. Forced into... whatever.
The thing I see with Deadpool is primarily he needs direction and motivation.
Oh yeah, no, if you just make him like, ha ha ha, chimichangas, here are my balls, there's nothing there. That works if he is in like a team-up comic or something where he is there to be on the sidelines. He's there to be the comic relief.
Yeah.
And, well, also, you should put a little more effort into writing the jokes than ha ha ha, chimichangas, my balls, hey, audience. Which, okay, there are a few hey, audience kind of jokes, but...
Breaking all the fourth wall stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, kind of what I meant by the fact that Deadpool always needs direction and motivation is if he just has direction and no motivation, he's just gonna walk to the main villain and just stab them. And if he has motivation but no direction, then he's gonna take out an entire city just because.
He's gonna take out an entire city while trying to save it.
He's gonna detonate a nuke and say, wait a minute, this is a bad idea, but I can't remember why.
That was one of the more darkly comedic plots we had in mind with this series. We were looking at the premise for the Loki series, and we wanted, what if it was like, because Loki impacts historical events in ways we don't know. I might watch that series. It looks kind of boring in a way that, oh god, I could go into like film bro Tanner, and I'm not gonna do that.
Please don't.
I will say the premise made me laugh because I think it was just Nova made a joke about what if he accidentally prevented Hitler from getting into art school.
Oh my god.
And then we realized, okay, but now I want to do a parody of that, and it's Deadpool trying to, I don't know, maybe steals Cable's time slider and just winds up inadvertently causing all these historical tragedies that he wanted to prevent. Oh god, that does veer into like edgy territory, but at least it's an actual joke.
Could you imagine Deadpool and Loki working together on anything?
There was like a comic where there is a story. I'm gonna stop talking.
You got me just as I was about to leave.
Well, it was. Do we have anything else to say? Like, do we want to move on?
Does anyone else have anything else to say? Because I do want to hear things. I don't want to just have this be like me verbally somehow both castrating and filleting myself.
I mean, I don't remember a lot about it right now, but I remember, like, during the time when we were reading it, I do remember enjoying it and finding it entertaining. And, I thought you did a good job with writing the characters.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much all I can...
Yeah, I will say, Nova, from your perspective, and maybe this will give him a segue to talk, you are really, like, disturbingly good at sounding like Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Well, you know, yeah, it's just something that I've grown. It's just something I developed over the years. I developed this kind of sense of sarcasm and wit, and just knowing that in some ways, yeah, I am pretty much better than everyone else, and there's no arguing about it. There's no argument, and not to mention, I can find a lot of little things that I can do to tease a lot of people that I know.
Nice.
Right. Does anyone have anything that I haven't already said? Because I know Nova said something. I know Scrappy. I mean, Ottermelon, did you have anything? I don't know.
Sadly, that was not a fic that I got to.
It's fine.
I gotta be honest. I saw 7 p.m. and I didn't realize that 7 p.m. wasn't in my time zone. So yeah, I was definitely cramming.
No, that's
watch
fine.
These episodes.
No, that's fine.
But yeah, I can get to it later. It just wouldn't be available for, you know.
That's fine.
I don't have anything to say right now.
I really do wish also that I didn't have him. I get that this is his thing. I really wish I didn't have him just directly explain his plight to the camera. I know it's, I guess, in his nature, but it's like, why did I do that? That removes any sense of subtext. We all know. People go to Deadpool for highbrow content.
Oh yeah, same reason they go to Rick and Morty.
Oh jeez, Rick.
Wow, I didn't know it was 2017 when that joke was funny.
I still haven't seen a new season. Is it season 3 or 4? I don't even know anymore.
Season 5 is coming out soon.
Jesus, it's on for 5 seasons?
Yeah. Even with all the nightmare that happened with season 4 splitting in two.
I stopped watching that show but I don't want to make this about. Really, we've already mentioned Deadpool. Can this episode get any more like Reddit?
But perhaps.
I mean, I might like catch up with it at some point, but I don't really have much of a desire to be honest.
Alright, I'm going to probably mute, and I might leave in a few minutes. I had a good time with this, but I might leave, but I don't know. I do want to talk about Telemaker Ascent because that was a really interesting thing.
Do we want to just like hurry up and like get to that then? Like kind of start.
we do have we'll get to it in time. I apologize for the delay, but we do have another story to discuss, and it's the only one. I was the only person who read it, so I guess I'll have to discuss it. Yes, festival. Oh, for Pete's sake. I have to just learn to slow things down and take this easy. This is a anniversary special. It's nothing. It's not an actual reading. Just breathe. Watch this be a shorter episode than any actual story we've read just for fun.
So what is this story?
It was Festival of the Ancestors and
Oh,
Star Wars. Yeah, it's that one.
right.
It's a Star Wars story and probably the first example of a fix fic that we ever read on this show, and I'd say it was pretty enjoyable. It just worked as an, I guess you call it, a reinterpretation of events from Star Wars Episode 9. So that was interesting, and I Savior like applying its voice filter for characters was hilarious.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad that bit came back.
Oh,
Me
same.
too. It was a good story. I really don't have much to say other than
Me too.
it's more served its purpose and kind of maybe not hate that pairing. So
Yeah,
congratulations.
it made it work, because I don't think it's any like secret that I don't really like the sequels very much. So the fact that this author made the characters actually decently likable, I can applaud him for that.
You never made that collage.
That's because I'm playing something. I mean, I might end up doing that collage anyway for like a thumbnail or something, but I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I'm far softer on the sequel trilogy than everyone in this room probably, but
Probably.
Oh, I listened to that one.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of actually any Star Wars media,
Fair
but
enough.
congratulations.
well, it was. I'll say like the author
Oh,
obviously like cared a lot about like that relationship and those. I don't know how they did it. I don't know how they did it with the source material they were given, but like the amount of care like really shone through. You know, they were obviously very invested in.
Yes, they were. A lot of people were invested in it, and that's why I kind of sought out the story,
the
because I was
pairing because of
interested.
that. Like I was like, okay, you know, I can appreciate.
Yes.
yeah, it's like one
Sorry, I
of
didn't
those.
mean to talk
I
over you.
appreciate like that.
Yeah.
My internet's not very. It's not very. Not cooperating with me right now.
Okay. Well, I'm a great.
That's really all I had to say.
Well, thank you for your insight. Yeah, a lot of people were very invested in the pairing. That's partially why I kind of sought out the story, because I was interested to see how fandom would kind of take the events of one canonical piece of work and kind of run with it.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's like it's one of those things for me where even if I don't care for a specific,
Yeah, and they obviously did their research.
yeah, it's like I don't really care about the pairing or these characters that much, but it's one of those things where like even with that, I can still acknowledge that this was fairly well written, and yeah, did a good job.
Yeah, so I really should have brought up a list of like authors so I could like properly address them. My apologies, and I hope we'll do that for the second anniversary episode. And yes, we will be here a year from now.
I hope.
I mean, the fact that I haven't blown my brains out says it is a testament to. Well, I really am just slipping back into like pre-till we make our ascent Tanner tonight.
Jeez.
Well, we're still in the till we make our ascent part of the retrospective.
Yeah, but
Until now.
there was one other thing I wanted to. I'm trying. My brain's blanking right now. Yeah, I don't know. Things.
Was it about one of the stories we read, or one of the?
I think it was to do with the story, but I don't remember what it was.
Did it involve a specific character? Well, yes, but did it involve one of like our readers for that episode?
It might have. I know it might come to me later. I have no idea.
1.5 hours later. So, yes, it's been an hour and a half actually since we started this, and now we get to what many of us consider the main event.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for the others, but this has been my favorite story we've read so far.
If I can say one thing, it was the moment where it was like, I do want to do this show in a way that isn't just like this begrudgingly like irony poisoned, for lack of a better word, sort of thing. It was like, this is something I can get into and sincerely enjoy performing and voice acting, and
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hammer like I did with my own voice, my own fic, but I will say it also gave me a character where I really felt like I was in my element. Although I will say that it much like Pinky, it's one of those things where it is a character that is both fun to play, but like 99.9% of her dialogue is just this boundless exuberance where I have to take a nap after I record it.
Yeah.
Oh my.
So how
Talking
are
about
you...
Nico, right?
Yes,
Yes.
I am.
Yeah.
Sorry, literally my internet cut out when I think you mentioned that. So, but
It'd be like
but
that.
like, I'm glad you kin her. It's like out of the characters, she's probably the most fun to write.
I
She
can
was like
see
my
that.
original favorite. Yeah, she was my sorry. She was my original favorite. I think that shows through as well. I still have like a really big soft spot for her.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it shines through in your writing. I can tell how like you're having a lot of fun writing her.
I like that despite her being this goofy
Oh my God.
like comic relief character who has trouble reading social cues sometimes and winds up both being the deliverer and butt of a lot of jokes. She's
Oh yeah.
almost feels like the adult in the room in this particular fic.
Mm.
That's definitely
Yeah.
that's definitely she's a really dynamic character. I think more than a lot of people give her credit for because
Yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
in the source material she's at once like really like full of herself and like kind of immature and like climb up the social ladder and stuff like that. But she's also this really responsible older sister, like literally an older sister, who cares a lot about like the people that she's providing for. She comes from like a tough family background. That's beyond the scope of this story.
Yeah, but it also did kind of sell me on the show, I'll admit. Though, again, with
Particularly includes her has to like pay homage to that.
Yeah, and I will say that it did sell me on the show because I'll be honest, I don't know if you've had this like despite me being like what I am, I do have like an affinity for cute things.
That is
Nothing wrong with that.
yeah. I mean,
same.
I love cute things. That's like my favorite thing in the world. But like, being honest, like Tanner, like that does not sound like something I expected you to be into at all.
Dude, I'm the one who said, hey, MLP's doing an anniversary. Let's do a fic for that, and also I'll be really drunk throughout. Which kind of wound up being like really good. We'll get to that fic, but that wound up being a good sense of method acting for Pinkie Pie, I guess.
Yeah. I think just some like background for why I chose this fic in the first place. I think it's one of those things where Scrappy basically tasked me with like just finding some Love Life fic for this show because we're gonna do something for that series eventually. So it took me a while, but I settled on Till We Make Our Ascent specifically because I was reading through the story in my own time, and as I got like I guess halfway, I thought it was going to be perfect for this show because two of our main readers, being Tanner and Nova, haven't actually seen the series, and I thought it worked in the sense that I feel like you could read the story without really knowing the source material very well and still like getting it and like connecting with the characters. So I think that's why it worked so well for us.
I do think that that like the post canon setting definitely helps in that regard, because like
Yeah.
the characters all look back on like the events that happened in the source material in like a pretty a general nostalgic way, like anyone would talk about their time in high school,
Yeah.
you know. And so that's I've gotten a lot of people that were saying like, oh, I can relate to this, you know. And I think that's what I was going for.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, like the post canon setting does allow for like more freedom with the characters, as you could probably tell.
Yeah, I could definitely, yeah. It's definitely interesting seeing them aged up in like the college years, so to speak.
Yeah, I felt like I wasn't. I mean, I've read about them in high school before, but I wasn't, for what I wanted to do. That was just not, you know. I couldn't do that basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you hit a little too close to home with the post high school ennui.
I felt kind of bad listening to the reading through of that, because I was like, okay, I don't think anyone was wanted to like get depressed, you know. But
Oh yeah,
we're very emotional beings.
Yeah, it was like a very.
It's very thought provoking. Like I remember like specific.
Chapter 5, right?
Being able to incite emotion into a reader is probably the greatest honor you can receive as a writer.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I can't tell you right now what episode, like what chapters in particular were the ones that broke us specifically, but I do remember a lot of time after we finished reading, we just sat there for like 30 minutes just kind of having a crisis.
Yeah, that's why, like, on one hand,
Sorry, cut out.
It's like it's do feel being able to get that kind of reaction is, there's no better praise.
Yeah. I think like if that's what you were trying to go for, I think you succeeded
You know,
really
and
well.
absolutely. Yeah, totally. I mean, I'll put it this way. You know, like the main characters are like 19, right?
Right.
When in the story, I was 19 when I started writing that.
Oh dang.
So you can probably.
Yeah, there was definitely a realness to that.
I mean, yeah, it's poor little Umi's going through, but there are definitely differences in this sort of like existential crisis that she is having is something that, like, you know, it's not. I was like, you know, this isn't just me, you know. So that's why
It's funny.
Yeah,
It's funny as well, like because I went into the story just being like, oh,
hearing that happen in real time.
Yeah.
Go ahead. So my internet is not cooperating with me right now.
Yeah, there's been quite a few like cutouts.
I am gonna have so much fun filling in the gaps for audio.
No, I was just gonna say, my mindset going into the story was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna read like a cute ship fic, and then I get into it and it's like this really deep thing that like makes me think about life. Like I wasn't prepared for this.
I feel like I kind of missed the mark as far as like what I was trying to go for when I was writing that.
Oh, really?
Because like one of my intentions was like, yeah, like I want to write this, you know, this like quality, like I want to like people to like get this pairing, you know, and like buy into it. But also like, you know, for not to be like as like, you know, understatement of the century.
I'm
One
sorry you
week
cut
before the-
out.
What part did you cut out on?
I wanted to, what is that? I wanted to make this pairing genuine, and then it kind of just
Something like
trailed
that.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want it to be like as angsty as it turned out to be. This is probably funny now, but my original projection for it was like 30,000 words, and
Yeah.
yeah, you can see where that's
Yeah, that can happen sometimes. Like your,
going.
yeah, like your idea
Feature
for a story is like you want it to be fairly short, all things considered, and then it just, oh, I just wrote like 10 billion words.
Yep. Feature creep
Well, we-
comes for us all.
Always.
Oh, that's
And since you're here, I guess it wouldn't be. I believe it would be proper to actually say this in your presence. Yeah, you had the pleasure of actually listening to our audio for all the episodes, as far as I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. First of all, thank you.
Pleasure's mine.
I am happy that we read this story, and yeah, whatever misgivings I may have had actually reading aloud for long form stuff, and yeah, maybe I should have eased myself in a bit more at the start. But I am legitimately happy for you writing and for Harry finding it, and I'm sorry if I did not always sound as enthused while reading it, but I'll just be frank, I have poor endurance when reading aloud, and it showed.
I think there's a difference between reading stuff and like by yourself and reading it aloud, because when you're reading it by yourself, you can just be by yourself and just read at your own pace. Whereas when you're doing it for a show, you kind of need to actually be good at narration and not like dwell on things too much, and it can kind of, I can imagine it can kind of get difficult.
Yeah, that's why I made Lewis and Nova do everything. It was great.
I will say right now that I do have to go, partially because I can't actually find my computer charger,
Oh.
and I will probably like die out by the time this episode ends. I got to my favorite fic of the bunch anyway.
I mean, do you have
Also, my
anything,
voice is
do you have any quick words before you head out?
Thanks for joining us, Ottermelon. I thought your fic was really good, and in short, I think its greatest strength is that if I can, I don't know if this will sound like just platitudes because I'm not going in depth, but it did feel very distinctly human, I guess.
Yeah,
I
it felt
don't know.
very real.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
If that is something,
Thank you.
honestly,
No,
resonated
that means a
with
lot.
me. Thank you. And I have to go because my throat is scratchy and my computer's gonna die, but, happy 1 year.
Thank you.
Hopefully we get another.
Yay.
Yeah.
Oh, you played a really good Nico. Thanks for
Yes,
that.
he did.
Thank you.
Like
Somebody please cover for me for the pony fic, because I like to think I did a decent Ponkers.
you did. Honestly, we may or may not do a part 2, so you might be for that. You might be there for that, anyways.
Right.
Mhm.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind doing another pony fic just to play that character again. Oh god, can I play her sober though?
I'm sure you can.
This is-
I would prefer if you did.
it's good- it's good,
Alright.
yeah.
Have a good night, Tanner.
You
Yeah,
too.
see ya.
So,
Oh dear.
So,
Yeah, I just it was a pleasure and a very, I'd call it a bit transcendental reading it. It just
yeah.
it took me by surprise, and it hit me where I didn't think I'd get hit.
Yeah, it's like, and especially one of those things where like, what is it? The fact that the first Muse fic I found was so strong makes it kind of hard to find a Sunshine fic to be on that level. Because if we were to do if we were to do another Love Live story for this show, I would like it to be for Sunshine, but I also want it to be on a well, maybe not on the same quality level, but I'd like it to be like pretty good, and yeah, Till Wingmaker
Well,
Ascent is kind of hard. It's kind of hard to reach that.
Unfortunately, like I don't read a lot or as much Love Live fics as I used to, but
Mm.
the ones that I do read, the subject
ones
matter
you
is usually like really messed up. No, messed up, really like heavy, or like messed up is
Moody.
exaggerating, but like not finished, you know, kind of like mine. Yeah,
Huh.
and like
Oh
you
dear,
don't
these
want to
audio
like go into
cutouts.
every single episode, like having to sorry. Do you do I need to go back? Would you stop me at?
You said heavy, and then it kind of trailed off from there.
Okay. What was it? I already forgot what I was saying, but
Most of the stories you read are unfinished.
yeah. Or having to reckon with, like, you know, like yourself, basically, for lack
of a better term.
Yeah, I mean, I do believe that, like, obviously you've read my stuff, like, I do think characters have to suffer, but it's always for a purpose.
Yeah, I think that's going off track a little bit, I guess, but that's why I enjoyed Madoka Magica so much, because like the characters suffer a lot, but it's not just for the sake of it. There's a purpose to it, and it makes you feel for the characters and like connect with them, because like it works. It makes sense. There's a reason why they're suffering, and it makes you want to like care about them.
Yeah, I think for like Madoka Magica is good for like it is good like fanfic material too, because it's pretty short, but also like it leaves.
It leaves.
The show and the movies didn't have time for a lot of stuff
Whoa.
that just the show did.
We're having weird issues. Like, I think what is it? I heard like 2 awesome melons at the same time.
Did I cut out again?
You're talking
Wow.
about something about Madoka. And
I
then-
guess my internet.
Doing it again.
yeah. What's it like?
Look, Wi-Fi.
No, I think Madoka is really.
Go on.
Oh my gosh.
Madoka really is.
How about now?
Hi.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear
Yes.
you. Yeah.
Is like a good it's like has like you know what? Forget it.
Okay, from what I can gather from what you said earlier, Madoka lends itself well to fan fiction because the series was short, and I guess it was open-ended enough that you could kind of expand off of it.
Yeah.
I didn't mean for that to be a point of comedy, but
No, that's fine.
It's not your fault.
Internet screw-ups will do that sometimes.
At the end of the day, we can all agree that Madoka is.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I don't want to say too much because most of the schmucks here haven't even seen it yet.
it sure is.
But
Yeah, it is.
but yeah, it does lend itself to a lot of interesting stories because you can like really delve into those characters and their general like psyche.
Yeah, that's what I was. I guess you want to go back to talking about Till Wingmaker Ascent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was just a very. I mean, it was difficult to read at points, and I don't mean that because it was long, but I mean because it's just, well, heavy at points. And
Yeah, I can agree with that.
it's
Understandable. I think like an angst tag would have been appropriate.
only retroactively because it was pretty. I mean, it was. I wouldn't call it really angsty at early on, like when it was just. Well, it was
Whatever.
kind
I
of
think
angsty,
I
like
think most people get it at this point.
like
I
The
do.
only time I
You-
look for the angst tag is when I'm looking for bad fan fictions.
oh.
Wow. I will say this, like, I guess to talk about the whole angst thing or whatever, I do like how you, like, immediately put some intrigue into the reader, like, at the start, because, like, you start reading the early chapters, and some of your early, like, impressions are, like, what happened, like, what happened to make Umi, like, get away from the group so badly,
Yeah.
and like why doesn't she talk to the other girls, and what's the baggage, like what's this really bad thing that happened, and all this other stuff that makes you want to keep reading and see where the characters are just mentally, and I thought that was really well done.
Yeah, I don't like if you already know, then it's just kind of like, you know, you have to like drop enough hints to like make that intrigue, but also
But also what?
I do think that I do think that like I took too long to like if I had to go back and write it again, I would probably like maybe condense those first 4 chapters.
I can kind
I
of
could
understand.
I could see the logic behind that,
I was
and
listening to
Yeah.
the read through or whatever.
Yeah.
yeah, again, I'm so sorry. Like we learned from. Well, what I was saying is we kind of learn from our reading of Till We Make Our Ascent, and yeah, we kind of made sure to not to relegate long forms narration to me because I just need to work on that. So
I mean, I'm kind of on two minds with this specifically because, on one hand, I can see what you mean about like the first 4 chapters or so, kind of needing to speed up a bit. But on the other hand, I do kind of like how it started off a bit slow to kind of ease like the reader into this new, like this,
new paradigm.
Yeah, this paradigm shift, if you will, because like this is a new setting for this universe that a lot of people probably aren't like accustomed to. So I think like having a bit of a slow start was partially necessary for that sense.
Yeah, I like even if I struggled like reading it aloud, I kind of don't want to. I kind of appreciate the slow burn. So yeah.
Well, I'm glad it worked out. Honestly, it's just I've had a lot of time to think about like what I would do.
Right.
Yeah, that's completely fair. Like I wish
Just one of those things that I would do.
Yeah, I wish I could go back and rewrite my early chapters, but I lost the source docs. So I have to like redo it from hand, and that just at this point, I kind of just want to leave it up as a monument to my early style.
I mean, you're braver than me because I completely just removed my old fix from the internet. Like,
Lucky you. I'm still proud of my early chapters. Like, clearly, it still entertained you all to some degree.
yeah, it was entertaining.
Yeah, it's just a shame to hear that, Harry, because I was really looking forward to reading your early Tsunami fix.
I didn't even write that. Like,
You know, we have
proof that you didn't.
We have never, for all of our bluster, we have never actually read a Sonic story on air. We need to fix that.
I mean,
Oh, God.
I mean, you found that charmy thing, but we've just never gone around to it.
Yes, and we will read it when Ethan is available.
Hey, how about this? We'll read it whenever Sonic Team or Sega decides to announce a freaking game.
So never
So
then,
never?
okay. Ah, dear.
Sonic Adventure 3 when?
Oh, I
Never.
wish.
Dear. Yeah, it was. Till We Make Our Ascent was just. Yeah, Tanner was, I think, on the money with that. It was a turning point for our series, and if we kind of just veered right back into one shots for a while afterwards, but it was a proving ground for us to kind of hone our skills, and I like to think I kind of grew reading it. It's like
Mm. It was
you know,
definitely
learning.
honestly,
Yeah.
I would
Sorry, you would like to what?
like
Oh, excuse me.
Thank you, Harry. Yeah, I'm sorry, Ottermelon, you cut out completely.
seriously, it's
Yeah.
Yeah, this is it's yeah.
getting been so bad for the last 30 minutes that like if you guys are planning on doing a part 2, I might just have to come back.
Oh, well, we would love to have you back anyway.
Yeah, I saw down to if you want to come back or not. I wasn't expecting you to want to be in another episode of this, but if you do, then be my guest.
I mean, in a way, the reverse is also true. Like, you really want to hear me stroke my own ego that much.
Yes.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I do want to pick your brain about this because I do want to know like your writing process and like how you ended up like writing the characters specifically, cause, and like which how I guess how did you end up coming to the or like writing the characters the way you did, like, and like how I don't know where I'm going with this, but like how was
No, I
it
get what
to
you mean.
yeah, how was it
Because,
to
like-
write for all the news girls specifically, and like how difficult was it to like get all of them down?
Yeah. Okay, I think for now, I don't know how long it's gonna last, but fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Well, I think obviously Umi is like based off of myself to a very a very large extent, and also I see myself in her a lot, just in general in the source material. Like she like has this difficulty expressing herself to her friends, and like she's this like anxious mess most of the time. Like she's really uptight, but she doesn't really want to be. It's just how she comes off as, or she can't really help it.
Yeah.
So I feel like that, like that, if like those character traits carry over to like these really difficult situations that she's put in, like she is in the fic, like it would end up like blowing up in the worst possible way. And I kind of wanted to explore that a little bit, I guess, because I think she's like really, like she's popular, but I sometimes don't feel like fandom writes her very well.
I can kind of see that.
You know, like she's really uptight and that's it. You know, like there's no nuance to it.
Yeah.
Or like they take it to like, oh, she's just a tsundere who can't like express herself properly, and I'm just like, well,
yeah, that's not really
yeah,
who she is.
yeah, like that's kind of it. Like I can see that, but it feels like just flanderizing her character.
Yeah, because I see like Umi is not the kind of character that screams like tsundere to me. That's not really her character.
Yeah. So that kind of ties into what I did want to talk about, where like a lot of this fic was like born out of like I saw this very clear hole in like fandom writing that I wanted to like kind of patch up a little bit, which is like how the main characters are like perceived basically. I already talked about that with Umi a little bit, but also like Honoka is extreme. I think Honoka is probably like criminally underrated.
Oh, I love
like,
Honoka. She's great.
Yeah, like liked for the wrong reasons and stuff like that.
Oh no.
God, I could get into this. I could talk about this for hours because I've been a Love Live fan for like 6 years, 5 years now.
Yeah,
so I had a lot of time to think about this.
I've been...
Oh no, you can pull rank on me.
I mean, I've been part of the series for like, I think like pretty much when Sunshine was season 2 was ending, I believe. So I'm still fairly recent, but I have been.
That's not recent anymore.
I mean-
especially since there's like 2 new units or groups or stuff.
Yeah, I don't even know anymore. Like, when did Sunshine end?
2017.
Okay, so it's been like 3-something years at least, but you know, still, yeah.
Relative to like when Muse came out, yeah.
Yeah.
That is pretty recent. But yeah, I think Honoka is. I'll put it this way. So you know how in the Love Live movie, Honoka like gets lost on the train and she meets this woman who is obviously supposed to be her from the future.
Yeah, that part was always so weird to me.
From a writing standpoint, it was dumb, right? It's like this Deus Ex Machina kind of thing.
Yeah, I can kind of see where they were going with it, but like my problem with it is that when Love Live starts to get more science fiction, I guess, or like magical, it feels really weird to me because like what makes the series work is the fact that it's really grounded. So when it goes out of that, it feels off to me.
I feel like it's a little bit of both. I feel like the series has always been a little bit larger than life.
Yeah,
you know, especially when like the series is like near the end, the group gets famous and they're performing in front of in like Tokyo Dome, right in front of like tens of thousands of fans or whatever.
That always gives me chills.
It's really good, but it's also like it's really out there. You know, there's this like suspension of disbelief that has, and like I'm okay with that. But like that scene with like Honoka and adult Honoka has always been like, from a character standpoint, it's always been super interesting because like quote unquote adult Honoka is like really like she's slowed down a lot. And she's not like bouncing off the walls like the one we see in canon. And like I kind of like what I always think is how does she get from there to there, like from point A to point B? You know?
Oh yeah,
that's interesting.
That's an interesting point. I will say this because I will say this about the future honk or whatever. It's like you can still like she does seem to have mellowed out, but you can see a lot of the old her in there. Like still like the old her is still there.
Yeah. And that's true. Like it's not unbelievable that she would change that much. So like I want to see, and that's obviously the only time that ever happens in this series. So like I want to see that change as it's happening. You know?
Yeah, I can see.
Very interesting. That's a very interesting angle to go for a story, and like that's just very interesting. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, it's like a combination of that and also like this really like messed up event, like really changed her. But it's kind of like Kotori has this like moment where she's like, I think she would have changed regardless of like what you would have done.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So it's a combination of those two, and like obviously a lot of the conflict is like Umi has to reckon with like this person who has been in my entire life basically up until a certain point isn't the same person that I knew, you know.
Yeah.
So Honoka is like really like low key. She can be very complex. And I like when I was started writing that back in 2016, like I did not see any of that. So I was like, so if no one's gonna do this, like for this very obviously underrated character, like I have to make it happen.
Yeah, I think you did a good job with that.
Sometimes you gotta be your own hero.
So yeah, so it's like that meme where or whatever. It's like, fine, I'll do it myself.
Pretty much. I wish I was done with it by now, but
yeah, it'd be like that.
Hey, don't worry. Sometimes, like, look at me. I'm still doing my thing.
Well,
You got a few years left before you catch up. So.
Oh god.
So yeah, those are like that's like my impetus for writing that story. I guess it's those two things. It's
Mm,
it's like wanting to like make this relatable experience out of like this like cast of characters that everyone loves, and also like
mm.
hopefully make people see them differently.
It definitely like
Oh, I,
opened them up a lot to me in the sense that um you made me see a lot more depth to the characters than I would have seen otherwise. So
Yeah, I don't think it's like necessarily the source material's fault, because like with an ensemble cast of 9+ characters, like, and only 20 something episodes, inevitably someone's gonna like the
yeah,
writing is probably gonna suffer a little bit.
yeah. So someone's gonna end up getting shafted, maybe a bit, and you can
Tori.
yeah,
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah,
But like that's fine. Like it means that like if the fans are more invested or invested enough, they'll make it for themselves. You know?
yeah.
It's the
That's
beauty
right.
of fan fiction.
Yeah, pretty
Yes,
much.
thank you. That's what I meant. That is what I wanted to embody with this series.
Yeah, that's what I love about fan fiction in general is the fact that you can only get so much from source material, and like with fanfics, the sky's the limit pretty much, and people can just do whatever they want with the characters, and I find that fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like jumping into a painting in Mario 64. You're about to enter a new world. The
Yeah.
canvas is already there, but the adventures in the sandbox are your own.
That's a really good like way to put it, actually.
Oh my.
Also,
Like,
I just
it's
want to point out this comment that Joey made in the Twitch chat. This game makes me not want to love it makes me not want to love life.
Oh, I felt that. Very
Oh.
relatable.
I just. We definitely.
I am the king of dark humor.
No kidding. We had our feels and emotions while reading this, and we also screwed around a lot. Like,
Oh yeah, we did. I do like this has nothing to do with the stories itself, but I do remember specifically. I think it was like one episode. I think what is it? I was playing like Crash to Entrance and like failing like massively, and then like at the end it was one of those episodes where we just went on a massive tirade about life, and I remember specifically putting an image of penguins from Sunshine just because. So that's pretty good.
When is that not appropriate? It's always always a reason to put Love Live references in.
I mean, it's not even just that, but I'm just obsessed with penguins in general, so.
For sure.
yeah, he loves penguins.
It's like,
Oh,
seriously,
dear.
like.
Why wouldn't you? Penguins are fucking lit.
I'm going on a massive, like, tirade right now, but when I got to, Holoska in my Unleashed LP, I, like, immediately just went, look at the silly penguins just, like, chilling out in the background.
What else would they want you to focus on?
Yeah, but one thing I do want to ask about Toei Mecha Sen is how did you like come to the decision to put the specific characters in the roles you put them in, if you will?
A lot of it boils down to like how much I like them respectively. I think they're like the amount of screen time that everyone gets is like correlated to how much I like them.
Oh.
Yeah, it might be hard to say because like me it suffers a lot in that story, but she's my favorite character. And Honoka is a close second.
Okay, I can respect that.
Yeah. Also like I mean I know that not everyone who's read in this series is a big fan of shipping characters, but I'm pretty into that too. And also like I actually didn't want to tie this into like if you're unsure about writing fanfic, like this is a pretty good reason to like go for it. If you like see like this hole in a fandom that like no one's tackled yet, you
Yeah,
know,
I
like
can-
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
the Thanos thing, right? You know, do it yourself. And like and that applies to me like when I was not only like deciding how I wanted to portray these characters, but also like the main pairing that I'm going for.
Right.
I think those two, I think their relationship is also like needs some work, you know.
Yeah.
Like it just like Honoka herself, like their relationship is like very complex. I think.
I think that's what I think that's one of the reasons why I like this pairing so much, because there's so many funny Shrek joke layers, lol. But that's like the main reason why I love this pairing so much, because like there's a lot of layers to it, and you can kind of just delve into their psyche a lot, and like you were saying, this really complex.
Yeah.
I like that.
I kind of like that's what's the way to put it? Like that is also like why I wrote. That's why I wrote this. Like I wanted just from it just like to like not having any just like sound as trashy as I want. I want more people to like that ship, you know.
Same.
That's completely fair.
Yeah.
I completely get the whole like drive to kind of fill a gap in a fandom. Like,
Yeah.
if I was actually more prolific in writing, I would have written some Scooby-Doo stories by now. Because
Yeah, I mean,
as you can guess from my, no, I don't write that yet.
I was gonna say, like, for someone who has their name as Scrappy Fan 92, we haven't done much Scooby-Doo stuff.
There's one story we could maybe read on air. I would also like Ethan to be in that because we kind of owe him a story. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I'm not sure how good the condition is now, but circa 2008, there wasn't many Scooby-Doo stories I was particularly looking for because they were missing a character I was interested in. So my goal was to kind of fill that gap. Still hasn't happened yet, but maybe it will someday. So yeah, I completely understand. That's the beauty of fandom when it's not being horrible. You can you can be your own hero. Like, that's, if you know how to write, or even if you don't know how to write, you can be your own hero.
Yeah, essentially.
For what it's worth, chapter 10 has been sitting at like 2,000 words for the better part of a year. So it's not dead in the water, but
Well,
you take your time until it is ready, and we will be waiting.
I mean, I honestly can't complain that much about your story taking a while to finish, because I procrastinate like crazy with my own projects myself, so I have no room to complain.
Yeah. It is like the universal struggle, right?
Yeah.
Fanfic, right? I just my worry is that like that fic particularly is focused on a very specific time in the characters' lives, you know?
Yeah.
Where, like, the existential crisis really sets in, and like, you know, like that whole like keeping up with your high school friends and stuff is like, it's like probably at its highest. And like, not only like do I worry like maybe I've grown out of that, but also my readers have grown out of that.
I mean, I definitely do.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say it's definitely a like the college version of Muse is definitely something I do want to read more into, because yeah, it's not something I've really read that much of. Like, I think Till We Make Our Ascent is the only fic I've read where they are in like their college years.
I've read some. They don't really have the same tone or anything.
Well, yeah,
but it's a good setting. I think it has a lot of potential.
I feel like there's
college is an under. Go on.
No, I was just gonna say, I think in general, I think it's a very flexible setting to work with.
College is just an underappreciated setting in anime to begin with. Like,
it's not a fun setting in real life. Let me tell you that much. But
I mean, I don't think high school was either, but
No,
all the animated high school.
I mean, school in general just sucked ass for me. Like, seriously, but whatever.
School is just genuinely garbage, but college is like a 1 in 4 chance that you're on a decent course.
Yeah.
Didn't get the memo.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's okay, I graduated already. It's behind me.
Yeah, it'd be like that.
No,
Oh,
don't get me
my.
wrong, I have a diploma.
Still sucks.
Eh,
Yeah.
It's a piece of paper.
It's a piece of
oh,
paper
gosh,
that
well,
helped me make a business, but
Could definitely be worse.
Yeah.
yeah, sure.
yeah, it could be worse.
I mean,
You'd be
that
voicing
business
me.
could be profitable. I could have to do taxes.
Oh no. Oh dear. It was just a fun story to read and not fun to voice act though. That was
That was
I
funny.
I hurt myself several times. I keep bringing this up as a humble I say. I bring this up as a subtle brag. I've always 6 members of Muse and I was good at maybe one of them.
I think you did a decent Umi, for what that's worth.
Monica, I just sound so concerned all the time. This is what I think a woman sounds like.
I mean, I probably
And-
wouldn't have done much better, to be honest.
Well, honestly, that definitely caught me off guard too. Like, I don't know, like, I'm not familiar with, like, other fanfic reading, sessions or whatever, but it would be a lot easier on yourselves not to do the voice acting. And it's not like it would break the immersion,
I think it's just I can definitely see that. I think it's more so just a habit at this point, and I feel like it's just something we enjoy doing, even though it kind of becomes a mess a lot of the time.
At this point, it's largely just hubris on my part. Yeah, hubris on my part. Actual vocal training on Tanner's part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not
I
saying you
think it
should.
flows better.
What'd you say,
Yeah,
Joey?
I think it flows better when you do the voice acting. If it was just narration into more narration, it wouldn't be anywhere near as good.
I feel like I guess for one sense it's easier to get into the characters if you're like, trying to voice them. Because I got when I was doing Cardo Ren for the Duel of the Fate script,
Yes.
I got more into it when I was like actually doing a voice rather than just being like, now Kylo Ren just killed someone because he hates them, lol. I don't know.
I can see that.
But
I would
I
have.
can,
Yeah, this is a problem, I say with air quotes, for like all story time as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, I can only fluctuate my tone so much. So
yeah.
for that brief, what was I saying? So yeah, trying to find 6 different character voices was interesting. And there's a reason Ellie was recast after her first speaking appearance.
That was amazing. I could be misremembering, but I think it was one of those times where you couldn't hear me, but I was just dying in the background.
Yeah, I think you were muted.
Yeah,
I hope you were muted.
I mute myself for most of these because I'm mostly here just to record. But there's a lot of times where when I have my mic muted, I'm just dying.
Your efforts did not go unappreciated. I'll say that much.
I thank you very much. Like it was a very specific moment that led to that. Not specific moment. It was a very specific confluence of factors that led to that creative choice. Like mostly fatigue. I just ran out of voices and had to default to my Iggy Koopa voice, which yes, he sounds like a southerner for some reason. It's like, I don't know. Like it is just. I am proud that it's one of the few times where I think I actually made Nova break, even if it was just brief.
Yeah. I
Also, Watermelon, why did you make Maki just so sassy?
Uh, that's a good question, actually. I don't.
I thought it worked.
I think if anyone is going to like slap some sense into Umi, figuratively, it would be her.
Yeah.
Because Honoka is obviously, she's down bad, and Kotori is far away, and also she's like too nice
Yeah.
to an extent. Like she does kind of let Umi have it in that story, but like not to. She won't be as blunt about it.
Oh man, like it's like the character was just made for Nova. So thank you.
Oh yeah.
I did appreciate that. That was a good performance.
It was.
But like the reason that that Maki is there is mostly because no one else would be around to compose the song.
Oh
no one
yeah.
else has that. So like it was out of necessity, but also I was like, if anyone's going to be well adjusted after high school, it would probably be her.
Yeah.
So I figured like there's definitely a part of her, since she has this like rich girl background and stuff. There's definitely a part of her that is like, okay, I guess I'll pick up the slack for both of us as far as well adjustedness goes, and also like it's necessary, not just from a plot point, but also for Umi to like, pick herself up basically.
Yeah. I also found it fascinating in the sense that in the canon material, you don't really see a lot of how the actual music gets created. So I thought that was a really interesting plot point to go down.
Yeah, that's one of my many gripes about the Love Live franchise, actually, because no one, except for the new one, kind of goes into it, but the first two was basically just like, oh, we have this composer who can play the piano, and suddenly here's a fully produced song,
Yeah.
that has the instruments and stuff. I'm just like, like I get it, I think for the average viewer, seeing the music process isn't that interesting, but also like
Yeah.
it leaves too many. Like I guess that's why this fic is so damn long. Actually, you can see all the stuff I wanted to do, and it's like put into one fic. So
Yeah.
that's why it's 8,000 words.
Yeah, I
Like,
can see it. There's a lot of stuff going on in this story at once, so yeah.
I imagine this story took a long while to write out, and yeah, it was worth it. I'd say we appreciate this.
Yeah, I imagine the planning phases were probably really long.
Like
Not
from one
really.
fan.
Oh, really?
It's the writing that's the hardest part
Oh, that's
for me.
fair.
Well, from one fanfic writer to another who's dealt with writer's block, well, we thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. I was gonna
pretty much.
say as well, like the only real times I can think of where it goes into the actual music process is when the characters have like writer's block at that one point. That's pretty much it.
It's a very #relatable moment.
Yeah.
Writer's block is a real pain in the ass, but if you
Oh,
put a
yeah.
lot of effort into making a really thorough plan, you can do your best to avoid it.
Yeah.
But if you know where the story's going and you look at where you currently are, it's just a case of finding the exact words for the chunk that you're stuck on, and it just go flowing again.
Yeah, I
yeah.
haven't put enough time into finishing this as I should. Like,
I guess.
Join the
Yeah.
club.
yep.
Yeah. I guess I don't know if the others have any other questions or what have you, but I think the last couple things I want to ask are who would you say was the hardest character to write, and who did you have the most fun writing?
The hardest character to write is probably God. Honestly, I think it is Umi. Because I've always like I've always struggled with like, okay, she's obviously in the wrong here, But also like she needs to be like sympathetic.
Yeah, you
know,
have to write it in a way where you still want to, like, for lack of a better term, root for her, and not just,
Yeah.
like, hate her guts.
Like she in this situation, she's obviously like, yeah, she messed up, but she's also like, her situation is very relatable, and I've worked how much of each of those things should I balance, basically.
Hmm.
It is very hard to make. What's the word? I don't want to say jerk
Expressing
protagonist.
herself usually. Yeah, I wouldn't go that far either, because she genuinely does want to, make amends. I
Yeah,
think that is worth something.
Yeah, I can tell from the characterization that she does want to try and make things better, but you can tell how much it's putting a toll on her.
Yeah, I don't want to play that up too much. It's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just hard to find that. So that's definitely. And not only that, but she also like has to have these.
Has to have these what?
Have to like come up sometimes, and I'm just like, okay, well, how do I do this without?
I like how it just cuts off like at the perfect moment.
Yeah, my internet's.
Yeah.
His internet definitely is.
Yes. It is.
Great. My internet's cutting out again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, you get the point, right?
Yeah, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we get
So,
it.
who's the Muse member who's the most fun to write?
It has to be Nico.
Yeah, I could.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't even watch Love Life, and I'll say yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't understand how people hate her. Like
she's
Because
entertaining.
she's an asshole in the very beginning.
That's true, but
I
also
think-
she was a teenager who didn't really know how to react to that.
I think it's one of those things where like some people in particular just don't
situation she
really.
was put in. So
Yeah,
it's forgivable.
I think it's like Nico's one of those characters where some people just won't really gravitate towards those kinds of characters.
She's
But yeah.
She is an absolute diva. Like you're either behind her or you're not.
very abrasive. Yeah.
Yeah, she's very abrasive.
But yeah.
Oh man, she's got a good heart though.
Yeah, she has a good heart. It
I guess
comes from the right place.
So does Maki still believe in Santa Claus?
The real questions.
How's my internet acting now?
Well, that last question was clear. The last question I heard from you was clear. Pardon me. How is my internet acting right now?
Okay, well, I didn't hear the last 10 seconds, so we should.
Okay.
Just to avoid any more,
Okay, what was the last thing you heard?
We were talking about Nico, and admittedly, she is a pretty
Okay.
controversial character. So there you go.
So, my final question for you is: does Maki still believe in Santa Claus in your story?
Considering that like this that Till We Make Her Ascend is about like the harsh when reality smacks you in the face after high school.
Possibly not then.
I would say the answer is no.
Rip.
That is the
Did you hear
saddest
that?
thing you have ever. Yes, and that is the
Okay.
saddest thing you have ever done with these characters.
She obviously is not. Well, maybe she cries about it in a room, but she obviously is not that hung up about it.
Yeah. Oh man, it's amazing. I mean, it's
Fun to write. So
yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah,
Well, I think that's all I have for Till We Make Our Ascent.
Yeah, I was gonna say, does Nova have any questions or things to say?
I have a good bit actually.
Okay.
You have the floor.
And well, I just want to preface. Well, I just want to preface everything else by talking about the whole uh, being into shipping thing. Because I did hate it a lot more than I do now. I'm still not very big into it, and I still don't really see the appeal of it. But uh, I understand what you were trying to go for. With trying to go for with the pairing you chose for your story, and granted, to some extent, I do at least I do see some chemistry there that you presented very well. It's just I'm not. It's not. I'm just not the type of person to really think about so much. Think very often about, oh, what if. Think about what if they had this kind of interaction and then their relationship grew deeper and deeper until it became something completely different. And at the very least, with the way you presented uh, the relationships you portrayed, I could at least still believe them somewhat. It's just I just don't personally feel like but it didn't personally really change my stance on it because I don't personally believe in just I don't because well rather it more so stems from the issue I have in general with uh, a lot of fans of various media seemingly kind of almost trying to push for a fan in relationship that
Mm.
while could work in theory, the well it doesn't necessarily mean like it would have been it would have been the best call had it been in canon
Mm.
because the the problem therein lies with people seemingly kind of now more people seemingly nowadays kind of not really accept not really wanting to accept the fact that two people can still care about each other very much but not necessarily be romantically involved
I can get that.
because see because when you breaking down to its core the friendships and romantic relationships aren't really all that different. There are some certain things that you can do in romance that you can't do in friendship, but you can still care about someone deeply without necessarily needing to, well, to
Wanting to
keep it
get,
PG for Scrappy.
wanting to.
Well, to keep
No,
it PG for
I'm gonna say this
to keep it
without wanting to get into their pants.
yeah, to keep it keep it PG for Scrappy doing the do. Yeah. So that's the thing that is this the kind of thing you like. That's fine. It's just, it's just I kind of, I just I didn't. While I did enjoy, everything that happened as a everything that you portrayed with that kind of relationship, uh, it's not. It didn't necessarily change my mind on that, and but at the very least, I can respect that you actually managed to derive something more interesting and more engaging than the usual fare, because the usual fare would just find a would just find a pairing and just do not really go truly in depth into how the two characters in question really feel about each other, and what they like and dislike about each other, or like any secrets they may be hiding from one another, or like confusion with their feelings about said other person. So I can at least respect that you went to the lengths that you did to really make it fleshed out and truly and more feasible than the usual fare.
Hmm.
Well, okay, my internet again.
How much of that did you hear?
I know what you said there because my internet. Most of it.
Okay.
That would have been so darkly hilarious if it cut out for the entirety of that.
Oh, that would have been really bad. Yeah.
It's to respond,
Yeah.
you know.
So yeah, I'm curious on your general response to that, Automelon, because yeah, Nova is probably the. No, I don't think it's probably. He definitely cares the least about shipping out of all of us here. So it's kind of interesting getting a different viewpoint in that sense.
It is hilarious how we
Hello?
somehow made him. Hi. Watermelon.
Okay, no. Thankfully, you don't have to go through all of that again.
Is your connection better now?
I don't know. I guess we'll just roll with it. And if I cut, and I'll know if I cut out. So.
Yeah.
All right then. I feel like we should.
Yeah, I mean, shipping is definitely not okay. Well,
Would you say shipping is definitely not okay, or did I mishear that? I'm telling you, we have like the equivalent of a Let's Player's curse with this show.
Pretty much.
all right, how about now?
We can hear you.
Okay.
Sure.
Honestly, I'm getting to the point where I feel like
Oh.
Oh,
God.
Speak your piece, and
but,
we will let you
like,
go
yeah,
after.
honestly, but yeah, honestly, like shipping
Oh my gosh.
definitely isn't for everyone.
Yeah.
And we good now? I guess I should be asking that to Spectrum, my internet.
Well,
If you want to, this is. I don't even know if I want to. If you even want to do this, if you want to type out the message and DM it to me to read it aloud, I can.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah,
like.
You know what? I'll just do that.
Yeah, because I feel like this is just getting really like silly.
Yeah, I think I've made this episode a lot longer just because my internet was acting up.
No,
That's
It's
an extra
okay.
5 or
It's
10
fine.
minutes.
Like we.
I usually
yeah.
make episodes longer just by talking, so it's okay.
Yeah, yeah. You can't.
Okay,
Like, yeah.
I think I'm back now. So,
Okay.
Yeah, like shipping's definitely not for everyone. I think like I did kind of like not every character has to not every character has to be for the ones that like ultimately it's just a fan interpretation.
Right.
Yeah.
Where are we at
You said ultimately it's just a fan interpretation.
right now? Okay. And where was I?
Yeah, all I heard is ultimately it's just a fan interpretation.
Yeah.
Before got cut off again. Okay. Oh, well, I think that's where we have like.
We swear this is not a bit.
Hmm.
We still haven't heard you say anything.
Yeah, I think it might be best to just send what you're saying to Scrappy or something.
Yeah, you can DM it to me, and then I'll DM it to Harry so he can actually read it clearly.
Well, you want me to read it out?
Do you really want me to read
Harry's
aloud?
streaming, so I'll
I
read
mean,
it.
I'm kind of playing a game.
I'll read it.
Yeah, send it to Joey.
Limit the big words.
It is amusing that we kind of Nova just somehow keeps on being one half of the romantic pairings in all the stories with them.
Yeah, that is pretty funny.
Yeah, my
You
view of
know-
shipping is.
Go on.
I think it's fine to have shipping where characters legitimately lovey-dovey, but then there's more to a relationship than just the honeymoon phase.
Yeah, definitely. I think
I
it
mean, that's
it also depends on the mood I'm in for what I want to read. Like, sometimes I am in the mood to just read fluffy, lovey-dovey stuff because I'm just in the mood for that. And other times I want to read something that's more actually in-depth. But, you know.
And then there's me, who is the only person here that I'm aware of that has any relationship experience.
Or you can have that one... wait, what?
No, I have some experience myself.
Oh, okay. Right.
The majority of Seaspring has none, so
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
there's like 3 of us.
there's that one fic question mark where the whole story is just Sue and just and then there's just like 5 smart asses in the reviews.
I've wanted to mention that all stream. Scoo, what could it mean? I'm at the edge of my seat.
Please continue this. I must know.
Best fanfic of current year.
Yeah, and then there's the one other review was like, did you write the whole story but then deleted it but only had the first syllable of Skune's name and then just uploaded that. If so, then you're my hero. Also great M rating.
I think I
So-
actually had that thought before I read through the comments as well. It was like, wait, did he delete the fanfic?
So Ottermelon sent the DM.
Oh, okay.
In summary, and he has not bullet points but like hyphens. Shipping is a way to see alternate character interpretations and express themselves in ways we wouldn't otherwise see. Point 2. There are lots of things to enjoy until we make our ascent other than shipping. Part 3. It's a fic about growing up and growing apart, making music. Part 4. Plus, the Umi and Maki relationship is built from scratch. It's 100% platonic and still very much in depth. Part 5. Nothing wrong with not shipping characters. At the same time, there's nothing wrong with shipping characters either.
Yeah,
I don't disagree with any of those.
Yeah, I'm pretty much on the same boat with all of that. Yeah, the thing for me, like, I can definitely see, I can definitely understand why you don't really care for shipping, Nova. I don't particularly agree with your viewpoint at all, but I can understand where you're coming from at the very least.
It it just well, my issue isn't necessarily so much that people pair up fictional people at all. It's just more so a lot of the time it just comes off as just using a fictional relationship to kind of almost make up for having no romance in their lives or not having much excitement in general in their lives, and therefore even if even if the relationship itself isn't isn't necessarily unhealthy, it just a lot of the time, like for the average person that I see, it kind of just feels like just basic plain matchmaker,
So
just to
like,
have something to celebrate over, and instead of actually really questioning whether or not they really actually have a long-term relationship, or if it's just there just for the sake of having something to celebrate.
right, so it's like, do you, it's like one of those things where, do you see a lot of it as, having characters shipped just for the sake of shipping them, if you will?
Yeah, yeah,
Sounds more like self-insert emotional venting.
Yeah,
yeah. But
yeah.
see, the thing is that mm, I understand that I understand that, without being too cynical about it, like doing either of those things it on a basic level inherently isn't it's not that bad or wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but the problem is that very rarely do I see anything like Ottermelon's fic that really actually shows understanding of the actual character, like true deep understanding of the actual characters, and an actual real eye for detail, and truly establishing what exactly makes a certain relationship work, or what would make a certain relationship work. And I I'm not really, I don't really have the
You don't have to
You
what
don't
now?
really have the what?
It's spreading.
No. I can't believe it.
Oh god, I'm on BT. I'll be next.
Also, I love how this is like one of the longest episodes we've done.
You guys were afraid it was going to be the shortest episode.
No, I was never afraid of that. I knew this was gonna be like a mess.
I offhandedly mused about it, but
Yeah.
you're back, Nova.
Alright. I'm going to have to dip because I have promised viewers that I was going to stream tomorrow, and this is getting later than I'm comfortable with.
Fair enough. I was not expecting it to go on this late, to be fair.
No one was expecting me to be here at all.
No, not particularly.
I don't even think you expected to be here today.
Yeah, I don't...
I was very non-committal about the whole thing, I'm not gonna lie.
And the funny...
You never committed at all. You didn't say anything.
And the thing is, like...
No, I said plenty in my head.
I don't think Melon's like, heard your voice at all, so it's probably a surprise for him as well.
I was in the first episode basically for the sake of being there to make sure it ran smoothly, even though I was tired and didn't really want to put myself there for much of a part.
Yeah.
And then I was there as the narrator for Duel of Fates.
Oh, yeah.
Ottermelon listened to the first episode, at least portions of it, so he probably heard your voice.
yeah,
Right.
I'm gonna dip and show my channel.
Fair enough.
Alright, I'm Joe from Bootleg Raccoon. I stream all sorts, mostly on Twitch at Twitch TV Bootleg Raccoon. I just today, well, yesterday, played through Hitman 1, and today I am going to be playing through Hitman 2, so stay tuned for that. That will be on in about 10 hours.
Fair enough.
Actually, no, wait. Actually, yeah, like 10 hours.
Okay. Cool stuff.
So, I hope you guys have enjoyed and continue to enjoy the rest of this. And I hope to see some of you on my stream tomorrow.
Cool. Talk to you later.
Thanks for having me, and I'll probably be here for more readings, like I said, post the first Duel of Fates.
Yeah. Okay.
See ya.
See ya.
Good night, Joey.
Do we have Nova back yet?
I do not know. Welcome back, Watermelon. Yeah, I'm not sure. Noah might be going through technical difficulties because, well, that's a normal thing for us.
I think this is the most we've had in a while, though.
Yeah, like if Harry can give me access to his channel. Yeah, if Harry can give me access to his channel, I can just do a smash cut of all our technical difficulties. It'd be great.
Good luck with that.
I guess I brought the bad luck with me.
It's fine.
I don't
I'm
think
probably
so.
gonna-
Yeah, this has gone on longer than I expected.
No.
We will
Sorry,
be
what was
doing a
that?
part 2. Sorry, this has gone on longer than expected. We will be doing a part 2. Tomorrow, if we're free, probably later in the week.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, really.
But definitely not finishing this today.
Yeah, we still have,
13 more stories to do.
Yeah.
And honestly, I want to salivate over my own story a little more. So,
Or 5 more minutes to get a response from me.
5 more minutes, okay. Well,
And make it, and just make everything worse, you know?
I feel like we've embarrassed you enough tonight. I can't think of anything else to ask.
Yeah, I mean, I do want to hear the rest of what Nova was gonna say, but I pretty much asked everything I could think of offhand.
When my head's better, you know, then maybe
Welcome
it'll work
back,
out.
Nova.
Oh, it's Nova back.
He dropped and then came back in, so I guess he was
Oh.
testing it out. Here's to another year of dead air.
This is definitely a series, right?
Story time with Scrappy is...
It exists.
It just is.
Yeah, pretty much. It was definitely really insightful hearing a lot of your mindset for the story, I gotta say.
Yes, we think this is far more entertaining than what it would have been if I had just been trying to draw blood from a stone and trying to explain my emotions with it.
Well, honestly, getting to talk about this with other people is like the dream. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I can imagine you probably never expected writing a story that it would come to talking on a show like this.
Seriously, I think when I first found out you did a read through, I got some serious whiplash.
Oh, I can imagine. I mean, I probably would act the same if this happened to something I wrote, which, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. But I'm probably gonna bow before my internet starts acting up again.
Fair enough. It was good having you here.
Yeah, and thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
hopefully, if you want to talk about it some more, like with the rest of the readers, because this isn't everyone, right, who participated in the reading.
Yeah, Lewis is absent. I think Xavier was in one episode of Till We Make Our Ascent.
That's a good point. I mean, Xavier, I don't think... I don't know if he'd have too much to say, because it was only for that one episode and hasn't really read the story outside of it. But Lewis, I'd love to hear a lot of his viewpoints, because he has read the whole story, even if he has only been in a couple readings, so...
Yeah. But yeah, it was nice to hear everyone's thoughts.
Yeah.
And
yes, and we thank you for being such a good sport through all of this, because
yeah, with all this, yeah,
it goes both ways. I guarantee you, it was my internet.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe next time, not as fingers crossed,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be great to. It'll definitely be great to have you back at some point.
For sure.
Yeah,
just let me know, and I can get caught up. Honestly, I wouldn't mind hearing some.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely gonna do a part 2 to this anniversary thing. I don't know when we're gonna do that, so you'll probably have time.
3 months later.
Just let me know.
Yeah.
My schedule's
could
pretty
be
flexible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be sometime in the next 7 days or so. Like, yeah, I'd like to get this done quickly so it doesn't slip by us, because I do not. Nothing worse than a late anniversary.
Yeah, it's just like second part. Oh wait, it's like a 1.5 year anniversary now. So well, okay then.
Yeah, we'll get back to this in hopefully a week's time.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
I will drag Lewis out of his bed if I have to get him on call.
Sounds good. And yeah, I think that should wrap it up. I got nothing else really.
No, but is your mic better?
Did you even get any of what I said?
Your original thing? Yeah, we got I think we got most of your. Actually, what did we hear, Harry?
Something about like I mean, I remember saying how Nova's viewpoint is you don't like how people ship characters for the sake of it, and you said something after that, but I don't remember what it was.
I said I don't like when it's just used purely for emotional fulfillment, because that's not something it's not really something that I condone as a healthy thing to do, because at the end of the day, like even if it's still technically better than trying to pair up two real life people, it doesn't really replace having an actual meaningful relationship yourself. And it's not, it shouldn't be used as a major crutch just to make your life or make yourself feel better. Because at the end of the day, when you take away the personal value of it and look at it more technically or purely objectively, you're just playing matchmaker to two people who don't exist, and you're making an entire culture out of doing that. So don't get too. I just hope that more people understand where I'm coming from with this, and don't get too like and don't get their head in a tizzy, more or less, from basically over over telling someone about your pairing about your pairing and they don't agree with your pairing, or they just don't care in general, and they don't really see any of what you see. Well, politely, of course, but they don't,
Right.
because, and it's not, and I'm not trying to say that if you do this, you inherently have an issue or emotional fulfillment, that you need to find healthier ways to do it, but it can be very easy to let your obsession over anything that you like in any sort of media you like to essentially become an emotional crutch and really uh, stunt your ability to stunt your cognitive abilities and make you more dependent on things going more dependent on just looking at things that you like, or rather, or seeing people make things about things you like in the media versus in your favorite media, as opposed to things that you don't like as much, and essentially form an unhealthy symbiotic relationship with something like this.
Okay. I can definitely see where you're coming from, but I do think that there are a lot of fics that do go more in depth than just having a relationship just for the sake of it. The yeah, I get what you're trying to say.
I also think there's a difference between like conflating fiction with reality and understanding. There's a difference, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
obviously not everyone does, but like I get where you're coming from.
yeah, because and that's more of the issue that I was discussing, because like sure at one point you could just do like try writing a pairing to exercise your writing muscles, but then if you end up liking that pairing so much to the point where you seemingly kind of revolve a lot of your interests, or even worse, personality, over liking a certain kind of pairing, then it doesn't really it kind of I feel like that kind of gets in the way of your personal growth, because because like any sort of obsession with any sort of media can be a very dangerous tightrope to cross, and if you make too many wrong moves, then suddenly like I said, you kind of sort of use it as an emotional crutch to make your life more exciting or to make yourself feel better.
Hmm.
I mean, yes, that's just more of a general cautionary tale for fiction and
I feel
really anything in life.
I feel like I feel like that's more a case of like anything to do with fiction. Like I I feel like it's less to do with shipping specifically, and more so if you get too much into just fiction in general to the point where it kind of takes over your life. Period. I feel like that's more...
Star Wars fans.
Yeah,
Oh,
I feel
dear.
like that's more of the problem rather than shipping in particular. I feel like it's more of a bigger issue.
No, and yeah, and it definitely is. It's just from my experiences, at the very least, it shipping is one of is more prominent is a more prominent factor in one of, or rather a root cause, rather I should say,
Yeah, I
of
think
that kind of behavior.
I think it's more of a case of chipping stuff is more what would you call it? It's more viewable, I guess. I don't know what the right word is, but it's easier to see that stuff rather than like some random schmuck just being obsessed with a specific series, but you don't really
Like it stands out more.
Yeah, it stands out more. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I can agree with that. Like that could be a whole podcast episode in and of itself.
Yeah,
The
but
logistics of fan fiction, you gotta love it.
yeah, you'd be in that one. That would be interesting. So
If you want, I have spent a lot of time thinking about this, so you know, like a lot of fanfic writers, I imagine.
yeah.
yeah, I will try to make this as short as possible because it is well past everyone's bedtime.
Yeah, I am so for the record, I am so sorry. We kept you here for so long, Watermelon.
It's still quote unquote earlier for me, so.
Oh, okay, fair enough. But still,
Yeah,
I didn't expect for us to like have to like hold you here for so long.
Yeah, don't worry about it. If I didn't want to be here, I would have dipped by now.
Fair enough. Well,
yeah, I guess I'm not sure if it's the most visible red flag of toxic fandom, but shipping wars and just entitled shipping in general can be is a pretty easy flag to see from a distance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's by no means the only flag. So I guess that's my.
I think it's just the easiest one to notice. I think that's the main thing.
Like I remember, but you were in the trenches of pony fandom for several years, so I can see where you're coming from.
Honestly, that is where I got my start, like, doing this whole thing. So it seems like
to keep it
for better and for worse, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Because the pony fandom can be kind of a mess sometimes.
Really something.
Yeah.
Yeah. To keep a long story short, while none of the common fan favorite pairings are like quote unquote toxic, problematic, unhealthy, whatever you want to call it. Let's just say I've seen a whole tsunami of pics over the years of a few particular pairings and just people just going absolutely nuts over it. Regardless of how viable it actually would be in universe.
Okay, yeah, if there's one thing I can attest to is that shipping wars can get really hairy sometimes. So
Usually it's not worth it.
Yeah, to me, like as someone that enjoys shipping characters because I don't know, I like it. I kind of just keep it to myself nowadays because a lot of the time it's just not worth going to war about it. It's like, who cares? They're fictional characters.
That's basically what most of what I was trying to get at. Cause, you can find legitimate enjoyment out of it, but at the end of the day, they're fictional people. Why are you obsessing or why do you it's already bad enough that people over idolize real actual people, for things that they actually do in real life, but but especially for people who don't exist at all and their actions in the source material do not literally affect the world that we ourselves live in.
Right.
And to become so obsessed with certain people getting together in any sort of way, it really paints a serious bad picture of the hobby and basically the culture in general. and it's kind of why it's kind of why for a while it hasn't really garnered that much respect or that kind of renown over the years on when it comes to internet culture, because there have been a lot more examples of bad interactions and over unnecessarily heated arguments over, some things that are supposed to be fictional.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Like, I've seen like from the sidelines how messy it can be. It's pretty bad.
All right then.
Yeah, I don't think we should really keep this going for too much longer. This is getting a bit silly at this point. Is this the longest episode?
No.
Really?
The grand winner is still Lost in His Dance in a Deadpool story at around 4 hours.
Oh my god, okay. Well, we're
I
close.
should know. I transcribed all the missing dialogue.
Well, this is this is still one of our longer ones at the very least. For better or
We're
worse.
still not even. We still haven't even finished all the stories, so we will reconvene in the future. If I give out a date, we'll miss it.
Yeah.
So we thank you all. Like I had this whole schmaltzy send off, but we're not done. So I kind of just say to be continued.
The last thing I want to say has nothing to do with what we talked about, but Knuckles sucks ass at not dying in this game. That's my last statement.
Rip.
All right then. Well, we will keep in touch with you, Ottermelon, and we hope you can join us for another session discussing all of this.
Yeah, sounds good. Just let me know.
Yep.
And thanks again.
Thank you again for being with us for so long.
Yeah. This was
Just leave it
great.
at that.
This was a great time.
Yes, I enjoyed this. Thank you to Lou. Thank you to Tanner and Joey, even if they're not here anymore. Yeah. And thank you, the viewer, for sticking with us for all this time.
Yeah, thank you so specifically for sticking around for this. It's nice to have like just an audience at all. So
Yes. Thank you for your contributions, Nova, and who dropped? It was Ottermelon, I guess he left.
Yeah, it was Watermelon, yeah.
Well, thank you for your contributions, Nova, and I hope we can see you in the next episode.
Yep. Alright,
I'll be there.
Yep. So yeah, see you guys next time, I guess. I got nothing else to add, so bye.
Good night,
I want to
everyone.
marry me.
Wait,
What?
what? Wait, what?
No, I just wanted to end things off with I want to marry Umi.
Okay. Fair enough. Alright, see you
Gosh
guys.
darn hair, you corrupted him.
See you guys later.